Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like Michael Douglas's hair in that movie was just
it's wild.
it didn't match his age.
Michael Douglas playing,
but I also feel like he hasn't aged at all
no,
since.
well, he is a timeless classic. He is
the same.
But in that movie, he plays the character perfectly. He's playing a 19th century American game hunter and tracker. Like, it's perfect.
It's what I named the Jansen Eye as Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh,
I never tell you that.
I never knew that. That's fantastic. Yeah. I want to go to that museum in Chicago and see them.
They have a whole museum?
No. There's the Natural History Museum in Chicago has the 2 Savo lions taxidermied.
Really?
That's and you're like not supposed to look them in the eye, like creepy shit.
Oh yeah, dude. I'd be like, I will walk up and be like,
yeah,
curse me, daddy.
Yeah.
Bring it upon me.
It will make me that much of a better hunter.
Dude, right. Cheers, guys. Oh, where am I?
Oh.
Clean.
We're
doing a live show here. Come on.
This is episode 143, Snakes and Stogies, which is brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com, Facebook, Instagram, BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out. Black Friday sale coming up.
5%.
Which there was people that were not people, but one person laughed, like commented with a little laughing smiley face at the 5% thing, and it's like,
why?
Bitch, it's better than nothing. Like,
yeah, you're talking about a product that's incredibly labor and resource dependent, and 5% goes a long way, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Someone's got to complain about something.
Tis the internet.
Because they ain't giving it away for free. They're upset.
That is a thing.
It's true. It's very true.
If you're not a cheap asshole, go to blackboxcages.com and get yourself something.
You know what? If you are a cheap asshole, go to blackboxcages.com and get yourself something.
That's
true. There you go.
5% off, you cheap fucks.
Equal opportunity. You can cry about it as you hit that send payment button.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get it regardless.
And you'll know in your soul when that box shows up and everything is gorgeously packed and flawless and exactly what you were hoping to give to a home to your little critter. You'll be reminded, be like, man, I'm glad I did that 5% off.
Yeah. See?
So after you do that, then you can head over to Facebook and but mostly Instagram, and follow Puget Sound Pythons, the fine folks, Jeff and Kendra of the Pacific Northwest, the Puget Sound, fighting off killer whales, what I assume are polar bears, and the thing from the thing, that alien.
Ooh, yeah, it's a good alien.
I feel like they continually, like, that's just what half the population is, just that creature.
That's another great classic movie.
The original, man, yeah. Like the remake, really, I wasn't all that impressed with.
I wasn't either.
But dude, that original, like, it holds up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's almost entirely because of the actors, like the cast. Like Kurt Russell sells it really well. Keith David sells it really well. Like,
agreed.
It's all really well done. Even the dog that just burst into like a giant spider thing.
Yep.
Yes.
Sold it. I believed it.
Old horror movies are like the best horror movies. I've heard good things about the new Hellraiser, though.
I watched that. I did watch that, and you know, like I actually got into the Hellraiser series a couple months ago, like not long before I left the shop.
Yeah,
so I watched pretty much all of them, and then I saw the new one that was coming out on Hulu. And since Katie won't watch that stuff with me, she was out doing something one night, and so I watched it, and it was pretty good. It was. Slightly sort of off center of the overall sort of plot of like the previous films.
Yeah. Well,
it's not like an Academy Award winner or anything by any means, but
I'm not a horror guy at all. I despise jump scares. I'm a big wuss. I'm a huge wuss. I will not watch horror movies because of that. But I will say this. My good friend who is a horror movie aficionado told me that if you're a fan of like the literature of Hellraiser and like the and like knowing the author, excuse me, knowing the author and like knowing the author's life, this is supposed to be like paying the homage to it and like the most real to what he or she, I don't remember, I think it's a man, in terms of like the psyche and all that crap. So
it is very slow to start. So I will say that, you know, I said I started it but lost interest. Like I can understand that. It was none of the Hellraisers are like jump straight to the chase. Like they are all pretty
slow.
I won't even say they're slow burns because it's not. They don't really ever get to a point where it's like burning.
Yeah,
it's like it's like being stalked by a slug.
I think the menu,
but that's the point,
is more of a. It's kind of like an art film a little bit. It's kind of like a play on. It kind of talks shit about a lot of that. I don't know. It's really cool. It's a really good movie. Me and my wife both very much liked it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
She had a flight of margaritas and passed out when we came home. It was great.
Nice.
Nice.
So before we started, we were talking about like new movies. I watched Nope the other day because it's on Peacock now.
I
loved it. I was telling Chris and Phil, like I like the fact that you can watch the trailer and you
you have no idea.
It doesn't tell you what's like the whole movie. It doesn't basically give you the Cliff Notes version of the movie in the trailer.
Yeah,
and it had me asking more. Like I had more questions by the end of the trailer than I had answers. So I was like, I'm interested in that, and I like Jordan Peele's stuff. Like so far, all the stuff he's put out, I really did like. You know, socio-political messages aside, whatever. I separate the art from the artist in that regard. You know, it's just a good movie. All of his movies so far, I've really liked. So
we watched that. Don't Worry, My Darling. Also,
I've heard about that one. I haven't seen anything about it though.
It's dude, you watch a trailer and then you watch the movie and you're like, these are two separate things, and it was good. We like that one also. Also, Florence Pugh is just like amazing. She's, you know, obviously did so well as the Black Widow in the Black Widow movie, but she's just great in general. But yeah, awesome.
What are you smoking tonight? Both of yous.
I have a McAuliffe Migdalia, these little guys.
Oh yeah, those little Migdalias.
These things are awesome. And I took the theme and I got my McAuliffe and my Macallan 12.
Nice.
This is particularly the sherry oak cask aged.
That's a great
version.
one.
It's a great one.
That's a great one.
Oh,
so we're gonna be doing these two things together because they sounded similar and I like that.
Yeah, and honestly, like hindsight, they probably paired phenomenally.
They really do. There's a sweetness to both of them that's right there.
Yeah. Well, because this is my first time back in the saddle in like 2 weeks. It's crazy. I broke out a Cuban Monte Cristo.
Nice.
But you're also an engaged man now, so.
I am. In fact, my fiance, my fiance is in the group chat right now. She wanted to know, is that movie Nope on Hulu?
It's on Peacock.
Peacock. Hear that, babe? But yes, we are engaged.
It's awesome, man.
Huge congratulations, guys! It's so exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun journey, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna be awesome.
So was it all that pestering of me going, dude? When are you gonna ask?
No. It was
I
honestly
periodically ask him that just to mess with him, and he's like, I don't know.
Well, I have never. How do I phrase this? This is the first time I've ever been like, that's it. That's the one. And honestly, Daytona, you know, she's such a great sport and coming and being with all of us, and you guys treat her so great, and she's part of the group. And it was right around that time I was like, you know what? I better get on this whole ring thing. You know, let's get the ball rolling. And
ain't getting any younger.
Right, yeah. And we had planned this trip to the Carolinas, I don't know, like 9-10 months ago. And I was like, you know what, this will be the perfect venue to do it. So I got all my ducks in a row, and she said yes. Well, actually, she didn't say yes. She said, and I quote, "Are you fucking with me?" And I opened the box, and she was like, "Oh my God." And then, then you guys can imagine what happened.
I asked Katie, and the first thing she asked was, "Are you sure?" I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Be kind of a messed up joke if I wasn't. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't want to marry you.
Yeah, right, right. That's a horrible joke. Well, the problem is that, you know, we drove up there as Hurricane Nicole was making landfall, and which was
How
crazy.
far of a drive was that?
It's about 10 hours, like 11 hours stopping for food and stuff.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah. And it's honestly, it's a better drive than Myrtle. I'll tell you that. And when we left is when Hurricane Nicole was making landfall, and we got horrible bands of rain, like probably some of the worst rain I've ever driven through my entire life. And the wind was crazy. But we're the only ones on the road for like 2 hours. It was incredible. Not a single vehicle on the highway at all. It was crazy. And then we pulled over at this small town outside of just north of Daytona to get gas and some snacks for the road. And when we pulled off, she even said it. She's like, it looks like an apocalypse because there was no power. The street lights were out. The traffic lights were out. All the buildings were blacked out and boarded up and shutters. And we found one gas station that was open. And when I walked in, the guy's like, "You guys need beer?" It's like, no, we just need gas and some snacks. Because the only people that were coming out in that storm were getting beer, and he stayed open. So, but it was crazy, man. And then unfortunately, that rain followed us up. So we got to drive the Blue Ridge and see some mountain scenery and some colors and leaves and all that jazz. But it was very, very cloudy, which it didn't detract from the beauty. It was just a different kind of beauty. You know what I mean? It was very cold and damp, but we don't get that. So it was kind of nice to experience that and get the mountain views, even though you can't see the quote unquote mountains themselves, but you see these beautiful peaks coming through the clouds and through the fog. So it was good. And
it's really nice up there.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. We did not find a single fucking salamander, to my own fault, but that gives us reason to go back.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, we had our me and Katie had our honeymoon up there in like the Lake Lure, Hendersonville area.
Hendersonville, Lake Lure is awesome.
I loved it. It's gorgeous up there.
Yeah, man. And you were saying Chimney Rock. Dude, awesome.
She climbed that with her friends like a few months prior to us going there. And for some reason it was closed or something when we were there for whatever reason. Who knows why, but it was still just cool to hang out and
Yeah, absolutely. It's a quaint little town. Very, very quaint, adorable. Loved it.
That's awesome.
Oh, but yeah, we're engaged.
Exciting.
Yes, it's very exciting. Very exciting. What else is new with you boys?
Been doing this for a long time today. Putting 1 million holes in 1 million tubs.
Nice.
I do a bunch of holes.
I hate that so much.
Yeah, 20, 24. I do new tubs every year.
I would rather staple my nuts to my leg than freaking melt holes in tubs.
I don't know about that.
I
hate it.
I spend a day at about $140 on tubs every year. But if this is something I was thinking about and I was even going to bring up, if you want to make sure you're being careful with cross-contamination of animals, I understand that we put them in things to breed them and stuff, but just new tubs are cheap. And when you're brewmating, 20, 30 animals, I just buy new tubs every year, throw them out. And it's kind of a waste.
Paranoid.
Yeah, I'm also just paranoid. You can clean them. You can clean them with, UV and hydrogen peroxide and shit. And some people use, what is that? The ammonia, right? Ammonia or
put them in the oven.
Put them in the oven.
Low and slow.
Low and slow. That works. I don't know. I always buy new ones, put new holes in them. I label them, and then I send John's picking everything up that's getting cold this weekend. And then I sadly won't see it again until March. So, or late February. But that's all the corn snakes. All the corn snake males I put in their individual tubs. I throw all the females in one big tub. And then
I put some females together in some of my tubs. Because I started cooling stuff down the other day too, so I moved things out of the room and into my closet, which is like not as cold as outside, but it's definitely cooler than the rest of the house. And so then come Thursday or Friday, I'm gonna go ahead and move them into the garage. So they have kind of like a preliminary, like gradual sort of drop instead of just taking them from a 70-degree room and throwing them into 50-degree garage.
That slow drop is nice. I feel like you get a way better response out of putting them into brumation. If you take them out of a hot rack and throw them in a cold box, I don't know.
Well, it's already been getting pretty cold in my room at night too, anyways, because the temperature's been dropping like crazy here. So it's already like happened. It's just this is like sort of the second step of 3.
Yeah.
You know, so
it's everything cools down naturally. Put everything at room temperature and then slowly get it colder. And that's the way to do it.
Do you guys ever cut heat for less as an acclimation to the drop?
Yes. I'll take all my racks and just make them colder anyways.
Yeah.
Like, let's say I have an 81 degree, 82 degree hotspot on my corn snake rack. Sometimes I'll even just shut it off, and that'll be my, getting it to room temperature, but bring it down to 80, down to 78, because right now my room's going 72, 73 degrees.
You do that with babies and everything too?
No, babies, the winter is when I really stack on and put time into my babies. Any bad feeders that I'm not going to brumate, that some that have had a couple meals, anything that hasn't had a meal always gets brumated. And then anything that's only had a couple meals, I'm going to keep it up. I'm not going to brumate it, and that's my time to focus on them. So the babies always stay at temperature. And then yearlings and 2-year-olds, I haven't done the thing where I brumate something kind of in preparation a year before I'm going to breed it. But then again, I'm going to be on year 5 with my vertebralis, and they're brumating again. So we'll see what happens. That's
cool.
I had John sex them again, so I've sexed them. Thomas Davis sexed them, and now John sexed them, and they were definitely a pair. So,
yeah, I probed that male Castagna Motley just to make sure, because I was like, I need. So I got a bunch of Castagnas from Eric Westmoreland over the week because I have a problem.
You do,
and
a good problem.
A good problem.
I was like, wait a second. I was like, he's sending me more females. I should probably double check to make sure this Castagna male Motley is actually a male before I have nothing but females.
Yeah.
And so I probed him, and it's a boy. So
good.
Nice.
I have 2.5 in the Castagna stuff now.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I
think.
What's funny, because we all kind of screwed Billy Hunt as well, because he just bought a reverse Okati to add in, so that it's great. I love it.
Yeah, he's got
corns.
Yeah, he's got
corn.
The Tessera. He's got I think an AML Tessera or something from me, and then an Ultramel Stripe.
Yeah,
with a bunch of matching heads, and then he got a real pretty reverse Okati Tessera, I think, in Daytona.
Yeah. No, well, I'm saying he just got one like a weekend or 2 ago, and I told him, I was like, that's the feather in the hat. Like, you're in, bro, whether you like it or not, you're in.
When you keep buying them, you're stuck.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is like the 3rd or 4th transaction. I was like, you're in, bro.
Yep, you're dedicated.
What's wild is like Eric had these things for sale for the last couple months, and they sat on Morph Market, and I'm like, what is wrong with people? Like, it's such a good looking morph. Like, I'm super partial to it. So. And I was like, I messaged him. I was like, how has nobody sold these yet?
Yeah.
Or bought these yet? And he's like, I don't know, man. And what it is that when they're babies, they almost look like aneries.
Mm-hmm.
And they need a solid, probably, I would think at least 2 sheds before some of that color starts to really come through. And like people see them and they're like, oh, it just looks like an anery, no big deal. But like these babies that I got, I had 1 shed overnight when it first came in. And it was ridiculous. The pale like orangish pink that's coming in, and
dude,
like having all these females and stuff now, like there's a couple different routes I want to take that morph anyways, but now that I have those females to raise up, and God forbid anything happens between now and then, like I have all those different avenues that I want to take Castagna.
I
can do that.
And if you produce some hets this year, like we had talked about, hold back 2 males.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean?
So.
And oh, dude, my charcoal bug got itched by Mr. Westmoreland also. So I guess what happened is we talked about some stuff we had left available, and Eric just messaged both of us and was like, "Hey, I want that stuff. You want to maybe trade or something?" And so he got a pair of Hendry County, my last pair of Hendry County Everglades rats from me, and he sent me a surprise because I told him to surprise me. I told him just send me 1.1 of whatever you want to send me. I'll just be excited to have it, in my collection. A matching pair of corn snakes. I'm just always good. But then he ended up sending me 3 because he's a fucking angel, and he sent me a male honey that is like stunning.
Oh yeah,
like dude's like one of the best looking honeys I've ever seen. And then
because that honey is money.
Yeah, a male charcoal. I'm so dumb.
Show me the honey.
It's a charcoal lavender diffused. Charcoal pearl. I don't know I always forget the combined names of corn snake morphs. And it's funny because I know like every corn snake morph and how it works and what they look like when you compound them, but I never remember the compounded other than
because
pewter.
Saying the morphs individually in tandem with one another isn't sexy enough.
Yeah, but see, I find that so annoying because like
honey's being the exception.
For me, as much as I love that whole niche, I mean, it's not even niche, but like that whole, like the corn snake world, right?
Yeah.
I almost refuse to learn the combo nicknames. Like, I feel like it's better to know exactly what's what. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that make sense? It definitely blurs things a little bit if you're not sort of hip to it. It makes it much more harder to follow.
I think there's a handful, Ghost being one, Honey being one, that stand out as like or shatters.
Those are the ones that have been around the longest too.
Yeah. And everybody's kind of like, oh, I know exactly what that is. But yeah, so it's a male charcoal lavender diffused, which is awesome because my charcoal diffused stuff, which it makes pewters, but charcoal diffused, it plugs into that. Now I have lavender, and then a female that shouldn't exist, which is like the most amazing thing because it was a charcoal lavender male bred to a charcoal lavender female, and in the clutch there was one just charcoal female.
Wow.
It has no lavender. And you could now that I've seen a charcoal lavender, I'm like, there's no lavender in this.
So now is that a genetic anomaly, or is that like, dare I say, I mean, what was mom bred to the year before?
It was the same pairing the year before. And that was one thing he sent me in the message. He was like, there should be no residual sperm. It was either wasn't bred the year before or first time female.
That's a great message you want to get.
Yeah, I screenshotted it. I sent it to Justin. I was like, how cool is this? Like, this is just the neatest shit ever.
Yeah.
So she may actually end up not having the lavender gene at all. She may not even be het for it. If some oddity has happened. But also it's one of those things like let the snake mature. We'll see what it actually looks like kind of thing. Because
what's the human gene where, I mean, obviously I'm going to butcher this, but let's just say, purple hair, right? So like my grandma on my mom's side had purple hair, but then like no one in the family gets it. And then I produce an offspring that has it. Like it's like one of those 4 or 5 skips. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the case with that.
I think it's just a het that's continued to be carried until it gets put with something else that also has that now.
I mean, that could be what I was basically saying. Yeah.
That's a Dr. Wyman question if there ever was one, right?
Dr. Wyman question.
And he definitely opened my eyes on a lot of these morphs that we think are so, it's just basic, simple recessive. And he's like, yeah, like you wish it was that easy. And he was like, now imagine if that Punnett square is 1 million lines long, and it takes all of it takes 15 different things for this to line up.
It's what we call grid paper.
Yeah,
right.
It's a grid laptop at some point. You know what I mean? It's just some crazy algorithm that has to sort it all out.
Well, Castagna is a good example of that too, because it popped up in different collections in different times. There's still some that aren't entirely sure if like mahogany, castagna, and copper are all pretty much a variation of the same thing. Seems like it's getting better. I don't know. I did a ton of reading on like old corn snake forums posts about the morph and stuff like that. And like when me and Chris talked to Lee Abbott at Daytona, he had mahogany, and he basically explained that as like the American version of castagna. Sounds like there's people that don't entirely agree with that, but there's all these genes that look very similar, and maybe they are just a simple deviation from one line to another, or just natural variation that you get between things. But it's just interesting that you can have something that is essentially the same thing pop up in different places at the same time.
Yeah, San Diego Gophers have 5 or 6 different versions. 5 or 6 different versions of albino, and some of them are compatible and some of them are not. Some of them have like what we would call a super form when you have a double visual.
Right.
It's weird, and those just randomly popped up in people's collections or were found, and you would think, okay, well, it's albino. It's gonna and you can have 2 albinos that look almost identical. And if you don't know the right line and you put them together, you're not going to get an albino.
You see, that's very interesting. I had no idea about that because I've noticed, I mean, I'm not a big pit guy, but I've noticed a lot of different San Diego like appearances of the morphs. And that makes sense. I had no idea.
Yeah, there's Clumpers, McGurty, Bechtel, Applegate, and Dryers. It's 5. And then they also mix with Axanthic, make different, or I think it's anery. I think they're actually anery in San Diego Gophers. Make different levels of snows, and then you can have double albinos like I have. It's really interesting. But that's the fun. You know, there's a big split, and my collection is a good example of it. Of a lot of like line bred locality stuff, and then a lot of this like neat combo weird morph stuff.
Yeah,
and I have appreciation for both of it. I really enjoy playing both sides of the field. And enjoying all the aspects of it. And,
right.
Not everybody does, and that's cool. Hey, pick your thing, stick with it. Some people are really happy with just like one species, and I don't think I'd get bored with just one species. I know we're all very. I mean, look at the variation in all of our collections. We have. Yeah,
man.
I think we have the actual full gamut of keepable animals between the 3 of us, right?
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cobras to monitors to pythons to micro geckos to lychees to corn snakes.
Gonyosoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gonyosoma. Or Thriophis.
Anything new with the stilettos?
Well, yeah. They're speaking of weird eclectic diversity, right? So the original one that I got back in June passed away. It died right when we got back from our trip. I found it dead, and it was actually in full blue, which is crazy. So that would have been its third slew since getting it, and having never eaten it, never ate. So the other ones look good. It's difficult to tell if it died from stress or some parasites taking over or something, because it did not look malnourished at all.
Right.
And like we've all had animals that we've seen sadly decline, and there was no spine showing. I mean, there was some wrinkling to the skin, but again, I don't know if that's the sign of a healthy animal because it's fat and got fat rolls, or if that's a sign of like an anemic animal because it's dehydrated. I just don't know. But it looks just like the other ones, and it never lost weight. It looked totally normal. So I have no idea how that went about. It probably was, I mean, let's be real, it's probably stress and just a whole gamut of being in captivity. But I tried everything shy of lizard and frog's actual liquid scent and reptilinks. So that's the next thing. But the other ones look great. I had 2 shed while I was away with Anna Maria. I've been trying to save these sheds so that I can do a scale count and really look at it, or maybe even send it to someone, but they are so messy with their sheds. I mean, one of them literally was filled with mud. Like it overflowed its water dish on purpose, I guess, to help shed. Maybe it was sitting in there swimming around.
You will never find out what I am.
Yeah, exactly. But not to sound morbid, now I have one in the freezer. So I'm going to let that thing get good and frozen because I don't want it to get smelly. Situation. Exactly. And I'm basically going to try and do the best scale count that I can. I'm probably going to try and take some pictures, and on my phone or on a tablet with a stylus. Basically, from what I gather, you put a dot with a stylus on each scale in the photo, and that way you can really count. And there's even like a ticker thing you can download. So like every time you touch the stylus to the photo, it counts it for you so you don't make a mistake. And then I also think that once I get all the information that I can out of it, I gotta send the thing to get bone articulated if I can, because that would be super cool. Now again, not to sound morbid, but try and get as much data and knowledge out of it as I can.
Yeah.
So, and the rest of them are doing good. So, see what happens. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Say, Kentucky Reptile Zoo just posted a video. They have, what is it? Tracked assets? Phalanx?
Yeah, they have phalanx.
Which, I mean, they all look identical.
Yeah.
Taxonomy isn't real.
And what I was going to say is that it really makes me wonder if they really are phalanx or they were told that. Now, Nathaniel was telling me that he is 1,000% sure that what he has is irregularis. Because they're using it for science, it has to be specific.
Right.
Yeah, like it's got to be that.
It's got to be specific. And I didn't go in full in depth because I know that he doesn't get. I don't want to waste his time. I know his time is precious, but I didn't get a chance to really go in depth with him as to how they've determined that. But I know he doesn't just buy imports from people because he has to be exactly sure as to what it is. But I got to email Kentucky Reptile Zoo and see like where they got theirs from, what they're doing with them, how they're feeding. And they posted this video of it, of one of the phalanx stabbing a fuzzy, but they don't show it eating it. And I'm not trying to say that it doesn't eat frozen thawed fuzzies. I'm not saying that because I've had Bibroni do that, but I really would be eager to find out if they're tube feeding it and that was just for a video, or if they are tube feeding it and they do give it the occasional fuzzy, or they're giving it skinks or worms or something. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah. Bill, I'm with you. I know a dick when I see one. I know what phallic is.
Nestled between two right now.
Well, what's funny is
Phil just sent me a picture. You know what I'm saying? Slide up in them DMs.
It'll
take seconds.
I sent I have Bill and Dr. Wyman in a separate group chat to discuss fossorial things of sorts, right? My two fossorial brethren. And one of the last pictures I have of the one that passed away, it is so phallic, it's disturbing. And I almost want to like not show people. I have to like zoom in on it so that you see that it's a snake, like with its head up, because the way that the musculature is of the face and like the way they tuck their lower lip in, it is very, very phallic. So
phalanx.
Yes, phalanx.
Tracked acid phalanx. Are we ready to test the people?
I think we are.
With this week's quiz.
Games of chance.
Keller isn't here, so I think this is our time to strike.
Keller is here.
He is here. He is.
Is he?
Lurking in the
Show
shadows.
yourself. Show yourself, Kelly. I haven't seen him in here yet. I think you're lying.
No, he was up in the chat a little bit ago. I mean, he may have jumped off.
He was boxing up king snakes.
God.
Did he?
I
and
hate
by the way,
that thing.
I didn't get a chance to go back into the group chat. Did he get those water cobras?
No.
No? Okay.
Those weren't his. They were somebody else's.
Okay.
Okay. So Phil knows what these are.
I do.
He does not know what these are. Y'all know the rules. I'm going to bring it up here. First person to say it. Phil still has some stuff that we didn't. You still have the stickers and
I do.
Something else?
So I have several stickers that I did send out to Keller and he got them.
That's right.
And I have another round of Venom Exchange Radio and Venomous Etiquette video stickers. I don't have them in my hand, but we'll get them out tonight too.
I have no one has claimed a Snakes and Stogies shirt yet, which amazes me.
Wild.
Like it took me 15 minutes to get this updated logo together, and no one appreciates.
I still have a couple cigar stands left.
Those are for the person.
Oh yeah.
If y'all want to give one of these away at some point.
THP shirt, Snakes and Stogies shirt, and then I got a couple of these here THN beanies. It's cold as hell, so
it is 77 degrees Fahrenheit where I am right now.
Really, it's like 50 up here at least.
I'm in a lightweight button-up shirt and basketball shorts.
It's 49 today. It's disgusting.
Oof.
And rainy.
I got.
So does the winner get to pick their
Stogies hoodie? So I'm good.
Does the winner pick their?
Yes.
Pick their. Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
if somebody wants one of these, I could make that at one of the options, and I'd be happy to mail it out.
So
some of you
so
folks
we
in
have
California that do enjoy your devil's lettuce, it is also usable for.
Oh
that.
yeah, you can use it for anything. You can
Candle.
also make a sweet pick to send to the lady of your choice. You know what I mean? Right?
Sure. There's sharp edges on it, so I recommend you be careful if that's the case.
Talk about with cigars, Justin.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So we have 3. Did you want to do a 4th or no?
I want to say yes, but I also want to. You'll have to do the 4th one because I already did the Google Slides and stuff.
Well, it's up to you. I mean, because I feel like we should give. We'll do first one stickers, second one swag option, and third one the cigar stand. If Kris wants to do that,
that's whatever, y'all. I mean, it was
random. It don't matter to me.
Sure.
All right. I mean, if you want to do more, we'll do more.
I'm excited to see these things because I'm stupid and I won't know what they are.
See, what I've thought about doing is doing 3 levels where one's fairly easy, one's pretty whatever, and then one that's ridiculously hard. So I try. I didn't really follow that this time, but
I mean, they're good picks.
I think they're pretty good picks. You didn't see the actual the pictures I picked.
No, I didn't. I did not.
Let's see. Okay, so number 1.
Are you doing them in order? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes. It's good. It's difficult.
I fucking love Brussels sprouts in the air fryer.
You know?
Oh, they're so good, yeah, dude. Get a little vinaigrette, and some bacon.
It's not
bits,
even a reptile at all.
Out.
It's just a Brussels sprout macro shot. A little bit of what's that weird yellow spice people put on stuff? Turmeric.
Cheese.
I believe it is cheese, Alex.
That is my favorite.
Billy Jenkins is not right. It's not a false palm viper. It is not a chameleon.
Come on, guys. Getting warmer.
That is a very good guess.
Getting warmer.
Ooh.
Bum, bum, bum.
Not a Manxianensis.
Now, if someone gets relatively close, are we nitpicking or?
I don't know.
Because I mean, I doubt many people know the scientific name of this animal, but I'm sure
I don't even know the scientific name.
I don't. I'll even give a hint. I have them in my backyard, and I don't even know the scientific name.
Doesn't really narrow it down, but
I know. Here we are, boys and girls.
Is that right? I think that's.
It is.
We have a winner. The Cuban.
I know Joe said anole. But there's too many anolis. So damn Billy Jenkins.
Yeah. You gonna show the whole photo next or no?
I'll show them all at the end.
Okay. All right.
If I have the other one up, you might see it. So
now Billy Jenkins. Billy Jenkins gets the stickers, or Billy Jenkins gets the pick of the swag.
I leave that up to dealer's choice.
Yeah, Billy Jenkins, choose your weapon.
He did just get him shirts and a hat and stuff. He bought a swag pack. So.
Oh, nice. All right.
He'll take whatever. That really helpful. Thanks, Billy.
Damn it, Jenkins.
Shout out to being just like my wife.
All right, Jenkins. Jenkins, DM me your the address you want the sticker sent to, and I'll send you the sticker pack.
All right. Are you ready for number 2?
Yeah.
This one I am particularly proud of because I don't think anybody's going to get this.
No, definitely not.
Included.
Keller included. I would have never gotten this. I think it's an excellent shot. At first glance, your mind is just cascading with possibilities.
Nope.
Oh God. I kind of even
this one I thought was almost unfair.
It is almost fair. I feel like we should maybe give like a continent of reference.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways it could go. Like, that's the issue.
Yeah.
So, continent is Africa. We'll go ahead and narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Africa growing.
Africa.
Do a hemisphere, not a continent.
I'm with you, Justin. I don't even know what a hemisphere is.
I don't know which one those would be in. It's not a Bitis. Not a rhombic egg eater. Not a Peringia. See, Keller is there. I knew his ass would show up. I was like, I got to make one that I know Keller will not get. Like, I went really high into the right on this one.
And can I give a nondescript hint? It doesn't. I'll say this: it doesn't normally look like this.
But it is not a morph.
It is not a morph.
It is not a like.
I don't even think that's not even a locality. It's just sometimes.
I don't even think localities technically exist.
I mean, there's definitely localities. I
Really?
mean, yeah, absolutely.
It's not a rhombiatus.
Imagine just sitting here not knowing what any of these things are. I'm just like, it's snake pretty.
Should
what's
we go to the third one and like give some time to
digest?
Burn that picture into your memory banks.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is, Chris, when you said vertebralis earlier, I was like, not gecko, not gecko, not gecko.
A lot of vertebralis out there.
Hey, are you sure you want to switch to the next photo?
We're getting warmer.
I'm
not going to say who's getting warmer. The two Joes. I don't know. For the sake of dead air, let's do the third one.
All right, let's
keep
move on.
Thinking.
Yeah.
Third one.
Boom. So many possibilities.
One I always thought I also was pretty proud of, because I was like, this one could be tough too.
Yeah, this one could be tough too.
Fuck you, Keller. How do you guys already know that already?
There is an Eastern and a Western variation.
I don't. Okay, well, if they can narrow that down, more power
you gotta
to
say
them.
Eastern
I don't
or
know
Western.
which one is which.
Yeah. Great, all great guesses, and I feel like Justin and I thought this was gonna be way harder than it was.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah, I knew what it was the second.
Yeah.
You have to tell me which one it is, because I honestly don't know.
It's Eastern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is the Eastern fox snake.
I'm so excited for Keller to send you another California king snake, Justin.
No. Okay. Still haven't figured this one out. So, okay. So, Joe and Lisa, if you can name the species. It is Atheris. I will give y'all that.
They only have so many species to choose from.
Yeah, let's say it's not Chlorecus.
It looks nothing like a Chlorecus. Come on, guys.
It is not a squam. I figured that was what I was expecting people to say first was, oh, it's a black squam.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not Barbari either. Keller, get out of here. Don't you have king snakes to box up and send to people who don't want them? Not Hispida. We're running out of species.
Valiant efforts.
Somebody just has a book of snakes of Africa. And they're just
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know that even most books would even have a picture of this. Like, you really don't see many pictures of.
Yeah, this is an anomaly one.
This, not a Ruber. Wrong continent. Not Barbari. It's a good guess, though. All right. It's not Broadly Eye or Desai. I'm calling it.
Call it.
Calling it. Let me pull up the answers here. Not Rungwayensis. Way too dark to be Rungwayensis. Oh. Should Lisa get it?
I think Lisa should get it.
Lisa should get it. All right, Lisa. It was Initiai. So there's Cubanite anal.
No.
Anal.
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 Anal. It's anal. Anal.
Anole.
That was a good one.
It's a pretty critter.
Yeah. It's a good looking specimen.
Boom.
There
Neonate.
it is.
Atheris nischii.
Lisa got it.
It is a juvenile. So they come out pretty much black or brown. And then as they get older, they turn into this awesome greenish color with, well, not greenish. It's straight up acid green with like black dorsal and like masks and stuff like that. And this picture is awesome. So
yeah, this picture is awesome.
That is a beautiful animal.
The photographer there.
And it just occurred to me that that's why you chose the acid green and black for the network theme.
That wasn't intentional, but sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was. Right.
That is flat out probably my favorite species of snake on the planet.
Well, I think that not only is this photo great, because I've seen several photos of them. I've seen them in person. I've never seen this photo, but I'm glad that you zoomed in as much as you did, because I feel like if people could have seen the saddling patterns or the dorsal pattern, it would, or like maybe even just the dorsal with the tail that like on the left side there. Right.
I didn't want to include any of the head either because I feel like the head and the scalation would give it away. They are in the hobby. They're not super popular. They never, I think, availability, and I don't know if they're any more difficult to breed than squams or anything like that, but definitely rarer in collections than a lot of the other Atheris that are in the States.
Yep.
Species I will probably never own, sadly.
Give it time.
That's the point. The zoom was supposed to be deceiving. And then this is the one that I was like, sure, people were going to get stumped on, but
especially because it's in water.
Oh yeah, I was like, it's in water. I was like, I'm going to zoom into where they can't see the face and stuff like that. Like maybe they'll think it's some sort of Nerodia or something, and I'm an idiot because that wasn't the case at all. So
they have a Nerodia vibe to their scalation.
What I should have done was gotten this in the corner, like in the top corner there.
Like under the water
corner, where it looks like an anaconda.
Well, or should have told people like this is Lake Michigan,
right?
Yeah, and I almost gave the hint of Great Lakes for this one, but I don't know that a lot of people would have gotten that either because that's
they definitely
Great Lakes bush viper or sedge viper. They've got a couple different common names, but
yeah. Can you name the 3 Great Lakes
in Africa?
Yeah.
No. Kilimanjaro.
No.
Hotel Rwanda. Tears of the Sun.
We got Lake Texas, Lake Austin, and Lake Travis, the 3 Great Lakes in the one great state. Thank you.
Malawi,
Lake Trit, Travis Trit,
Malawi, Victoria, and Tanganyika.
Oh, see, I knew the Victoria and Tanganyika. I didn't know the Malawi, Wakanda.
Fuck yes. Wakanda forever.
Oh,
saw that movie too. It's very good. I've been watching a lot of movies.
I can't keep up with the superhero movies anymore, man.
It's a lot. There's a lot.
And Bill Bradley says, just think of Petco cichlid names. It's very true. Very true. Oh,
well,
man.
I guess I'm just going to have to try harder with my photo.
No, I think that was a good game because it was off the beaten path, and there was one that was more difficult than the others. I think it was good.
It wasn't the Fairy Island pit viper that you threw at everybody that has like 2 known pictures in existence.
Throw a picture of a web eye up, a Lampropeltis web eye up on there. There's literally like a picture of one.
This is the only picture of this species that exists, and it's from 1868.
I hate you all.
It's a drawing on like a cave wall.
It's a wet specimen.
Hell yeah.
One of 4 found. Billy Jenkins says, tonight made me feel smart. You are smart, Billy Jenkins.
You are smart.
He's a special boy.
Oh, God.
Let's take a moment to appreciate some Great Lakes bush vipers.
Okay. On that note, Chris, speaking of mountain kings, so I've got a pair, right?
Yeah.
And I got one. My girl lives perpetually in quarantine because it's in the colder part of the house.
Sure. Good idea.
And she's doing great. And you told me to give her a fake brumation when she was a baby, and she went 6 months with no feeding, and then I brought her back out, and wham, she ate food. So that worked like $1 million, and she's been doing great ever since. The male is in a rack with knobtails in the same temperature gradient and all that, and that thing eats anything I put in front of it. Now, the question is, I still got probably 2 or 3 more years before they're big enough to breed.
Yeah.
Do I start giving that male a winter? Or
it's not going to hurt the male. One thing that will happen occasionally, specifically with mountain kings, Mexican kings, if you brumate them, they're going to come out and want to breed, and they won't eat. It's not half the time. I've kind of noticed it. The males right after brumation just straight up will not eat until they've had sex or something.
Okay.
Females, that's not the case. The concern with females is that is a beautiful animal. The concern with females is that they ovulate, and if you don't have a good male to put them to, they could slug out. But I will tell you that a very, very, very small female pyro will produce viable eggs and will give you beautiful little babies.
Really?
King snakes, especially mountain king snakes, can breed extremely small. I would be more concerned in their age than I would their size. If she's 3 years old and maybe 18 to 24 inches, I mean, if you want to, I mean, you got to get her cold. I mean, we do 50 to 55 for 4 or 5 months. You know, we really get them cold for 4 months.
Okay.
So that's one thing we really, you really have to do that. 1 for the male to produce good sperm, and 2 for the female to ovulate.
Okay, so essentially, for at least another year or 2, I should just leave them the way they are.
Yeah, I mean, I like keeping things that I want to get size on. I always just keep up, and I don't feed it more during the winter, but I know that I am not going to miss a feeding during the winter with those animals because I'm feeding, 25 snakes, right?
Yeah,
maybe or 30. I'm feeding half my collection. Whereas
blue bears.
There's plenty of times during the summer, especially during the fall, that I'll just be like, shit, I'm not going to feed this week, which I honestly don't think is bad, right? Like these animals don't eat fuzzy every Sunday,
right.
But yeah, so there's been plenty of times where I'm like, look, I'm just not going to get a feeding done this week. I'm not going to stress myself out because if I'm stressed out, I'm not going to do a good job with everything.
Yes.
Being stressed in your reptile room isn't the reason why we have a room full of reptiles.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But during the winter, I've got, geckos aren't eating as much. They're not pooping as much, so I'm not cleaning. Leechies are just starting to stop fighting, so I'm not really doing much with them. The gargs just start breeding, usually in December when I put it back together. In fact, I didn't even separate them this year. And then, everything is slowed down. Even my stuff that I cohab that I don't brumate, just I slow it down. I won't be feeding them as much during the winter. I'm doing the Janai different this year instead of cohabbing them through the winter like I had in the past. They're actually going to brumate. I'm going to see if that gives me more male or more females because I produce a lot of males.
Okay.
It was 5'1" this year, 6'2" the year before.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to brumate them this time instead of just letting them just get cold. And hang out together, and we'll see because that's
see if that evens the keel.
Yeah, that's a cool looking critter right there.
Yeah, it is. Those
Shout out to Thor Hawkinson. I've been following him for a while on Instagram and stuff. He's legit, probably one of my favorite photographers out there right now.
Nice. Is this on iNet? Or no, it's Flickr.
It's
Sorry.
Flickr. Yeah.
Nice. I'll check it out.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He does awesome stuff.
God, those are great pictures. Wait. I see a little eublepharid right there. Go back. I see eyelids on a gecko.
Yeah.
Beautiful little natural leopard gecko.
Leopard gecko.
Yeah. Does he put where they are?
Yeah.
Okay.
He does. Not like specific coordinates or anything, but like look at that. That's harassing.
Oh, nice. Click that. What locality is that?
Negev, Israel.
Oh, excellent.
Wow.
Look at that. Little dragons, sand dragons.
Yeah, man. Absolutely love them. They have been so much more rewarding than I ever thought, keeping them how I've been keeping them and as long as I've been keeping them.
And this is all that matters right here, though. Just so everybody knows.
That's a great looking specimen too.
It's good really cool. Chondro.
Yeah, that's like
that's from someone's collection, though.
I was just about to say, man, that's got to be some designer shit.
I don't know who Nordic Chondros is. I follow them on Instagram as well, and they've got some killer animals.
That's neat.
No, little macrops.
Dude, Thai macrops with the yellow eyes, man. It's a gorgeous animal.
Vogeli. Little Echis for you.
Yeah, Ocellatus or Cornutus?
Coloratus. Cool Boiga.
Is it Niggerceps?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, look at that, dude.
Is it Ablabris?
No, what does he say it is? Sabahi Facatus.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm not familiar with. Oh my god.
Those Sabati were broken out of Popium, I believe.
Oh, okay.
And then they gave them like 15 freaking subspecies.
Yeah, see, that's kind of the problem with like these like Thai Trimeresterus and stuff like that. Is they all look the freaking same.
Yeah. What was that, McMahoney? Go up.
McGregori.
No, go up.
Oh, you're talking about up. Sorry, I already clicked this one. I just have to admire the McGregori for half a second because that's also an awesome species.
Yeah, a little Filipino action.
The white ones are badass.
Yeah, the white ones are the cat's pajamas.
Like, cool looking. It's a badass looking snake.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah, is that? Oh, it's Gasparetti. Still cool.
Gasparetti.
Still cool. Very attractive. Oh, I love tracks in the sand, man. Love tracks in the sand.
Manxinensis. Look at that little landmine.
Yeah.
So we were at the Columbia show the weekend before last, and there was a table that had some.
Are you kidding me?
Elasma for sale.
Why didn't you tell me?
I don't know.
How much were they?
I don't remember.
Oh,
They were
dude.
cheaper than I remember them being. Like they were cheaper than I expected them to be.
Were they like $50?
No. I want to say like
okay.
maybe 300, 250.
Oh God! All right.
Keller
Like a
was
hole
there.
in the head.
Keller might know. But I just thought that was cool because I hadn't seen those for sale in a long time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're one of very few Asian species on my tracker.
You had them at one point though, or no?
I did. I bred them.
I was gonna say I thought you did.
Yeah, I bred them.
Oh, here's a cool. This is Boiga simensis.
Oh, nice.
One of the many Indian species that we'll probably never see in the hobby, but they're cooler than a lot of what we do have in the hobby.
It's the Fonzie of tree snakes.
Yo, let me see that gecko. Show me the gecko. Solid
Which
tokay.
gecko? This tokay?
Oh, dude, that thing's actually really cool looking. That pink head. Oh, look at that.
I'm amazed that he got it to sit still long enough to even get this picture.
It actually just bit him.
You probably took 400 photos.
Jumped on his face, grabbed his nose, and didn't let go.
Oh man,
it's pretty. God, tokays are gorgeous.
I just wish they weren't so damn loud.
Oh, is that field eye?
That's cool. Where?
Go up. Go up. Right there. Is that
Yes.
field eye? Nice.
Sure is. A little false viper, mock viper. Stenodactylus.
Stenodactylus.
Oh, that's a cool shot. Look at that triumphant bastard.
That's awesome.
That's what I like to pretend my Ackies do.
They wake up in the morning and sing to you like that?
No, they just run away, get spaz out and try to get away from me. That's a cool shot too. There's all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Hypsiglena. Look at that. Oh, I want some of these so badly.
You and those twin spots, man.
I haven't decided if I want to deal with lizards though.
Yeah.
Like Hypsiglena are I enjoyed seeing those and playing around with them in Texas so much.
Yeah, they're really neat.
Such cool little snakes, man. That's a cool Peringii shot.
Awesome.
Imagine stepping on one of those little bastards.
Oh God.
Oh, that's a Cerastes vipera. That's not a Peringii.
Oh, is it?
It's awesome.
Very cool.
Oh, I'm going back to looking at Nishii now.
Oh, listen to that cork. Yeah, baby.
What is that?
Oh, this
is McAllen.
Oh, I thought he like grabbed a tokay or something and it was in his hand. I can't see what's going on.
No, it's dad juice.
It's my happy sauce.
Oh.
I had one, and that thing was so damn loud at night because it was a male, and it was just. If you have a small room, it kind of sucks because they don't.
Yeah, when I was in college, I had a cage. I think it was like a 55 gallon because like that's all we had in the Stone Age, and I bred a pair. And it was cool because we just like left them in there. The baby stayed in there. We just like threw a bunch of crickets and watched them go batshit. They were super loud, and I don't really remember it because I was in college. And sure, they made noise. So did everything else. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was in an apartment with 3 other guys, and it was just noisy. I don't know. We just slept out of necessity.
Nice.
They're fun. You just I don't know. You don't really get to play with them too much. They're not a hands-on species for the most part.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Phil, what are your plans for 2023? Are you doing any breeding stuff lined up?
Yes.
I know you mentioned Cerastes, maybe.
Cerastes are definite. They'll be in April, so I'll probably give them their quote unquote winter right around Christmas time, and then first week in April, bring them back up to like a medium temp, start feeding, and after if I can get 2 meals in them.
What's a cool down like them? Like what's a cool down for them? Like
realistically, it'll probably be 20 or 30 degrees, but I'm only going to bring them to like 65, maybe 67. I'm not putting them in like a cooler or anything, but their enclosure is 100 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, and then right around 78 at night. So for me to slowly taper that and eventually just turn it off, the room will be probably 68-ish, 67-ish. And then they do a weird, I can't remember how many days gestation, but the eggs hatch in a month. So
so they must be like Dion's kind of, where like the gestation is longer, but then they drop them and they hatch in no time. Yeah.
Right. And it's not that long. I think it's still like 50, 60 days, something like that. And then you incubate for like a month. So yeah, I gotta look. I have my notes written down, but I'm definitely gonna do them in April. I have one pair of wrinkles that I want to pair. But I decided I'm not gonna do the cooler route because I'm going to cool them. I'm gonna basically taper their light cycle and then completely kill the heat. And then the prospective mom and dad are directly underneath an AC vent. And I'm not gonna change my house AC, so when it gets cold, it's going to get cold, whatever. It'll probably, the coldest my house ever gets is like 61, 62, if that, on the coldest of days. So I'm hoping that, because I know that they use the basking site every single day, probably 2 or 3 times a day. I figure tapering that and eventually eliminating that, I want to see if that'll be cool enough to promote some kind of activity. If that fails this year, who cares? Now next year we'll know we have to put them in a cooler, so they're going to do that. I'll probably do that maybe closer to Christmas. I want to get like 2 or 3 more meals in them before I really drop it, because I feed them very sparingly. And then I'm going to do a feeding tomorrow on the Fuscus, and then I'm going to do like a good sized rat for them. And then the minute I get defecations from the male and female, I'm stripping their cages and killing their heat. And I'll probably do that again until maybe first or second week in January. Bring them back up, give them a small meal, and cross my fingers. And this will be my first time intentionally breeding pythons.
Nice.
Yeah. So, and the Nephris, I don't know what I want to do yet, because everything went so late last year and I only got one good egg that I'm wondering if, because I'm in South Florida, if it's going to make that much of a difference. Now, I have friends in Miami that breed way more Nephris than I do, and they stick to everyone else's timeline, but it just hasn't worked for me. So I'm like,
everybody I know that breeds them sticks to the same things.
So now I'm wondering if I should just, because if it worked, I'm just going to not do that. You know what I mean? So
how cold are you getting them? Room temp 70?
No, probably cooler. Probably like, probably 70. Yeah.
Maybe 65, 70. Yeah.
Not even, like probably 69, 70. So
how is Blumpkin doing?
Blumpkin's doing fantastic.
That's awesome.
Blumpkin is finally at an age now where it's still terrified of everything.
Yeah.
But the minute it sees a quarter-sized cricket, it's game over. Mm-hmm. So slamming crickets. And I realized that I like having baby geckos on paper towels. And I don't care if people want to break my stones about it. I don't care. But you know what? I've had really good luck with babies on paper towels.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep doing it for now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
For years and years and years and years, I did all my babies on paper towels. It's just easier.
It's easier.
It's easier to clean. It's easier to tell when they've eaten. It's easier to see what their defecation looks like.
Yes.
It's easier to find that bug that died that they didn't eat.
Exactly.
It's, you especially with Nephris, you get a little worried about a spilt water bowl. It's easier to clean that up. It also absorbs it a little differently.
Yeah.
The only reason I took my gargs off of paper towels was I keep springtails in with the babies now, and I have these little tubs. They just all have springtails, and I swear I haven't cleaned a baby gargoyle that hasn't gone to its next size cage from a 6-foot tub. I literally probably haven't cleaned a baby gargoyle in a year and a half. Right? Like I don't ever see their poop, and I know they're growing and they eat their food.
Yeah. Hey, man,
just absorb it.
That's the cleanup crew's job, you know? So, and what's funny is we're talking about like looking for like dead crickets or like cricket parts that don't like, you know, like they dive bomb a larger cricket and the leg falls off. It's still decomposing media, you know? With the levies, I realized because I had started to notice like the owl pellets, like the eating too much and regurgitating. And I noticed that on paper towels, I can smell it really quickly, while it's on sand and soil substrate, it dries out real quick. And I don't even know that it happened. And so the animal is constantly regurgitating because it's gorging itself. And now it's becoming, I don't want to say emaciated, but it's losing weight and not healthy. And I don't notice it, but on paper towels, I can see it. So yeah.
Weird little critters. Also, it's easier to evacuate those bugs that they don't eat because they get stressed out so damn easy. They just they do not do well in high traffic, bugs bugging them. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, you think about it, in the wild, they can run away from it. In the tub, where they're going to go? You know, they're stuck with it. So yeah. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the girl tails this year. I had major adult losses last year, and it kind of like was a big kick to the groin, and I was literally like, screw it, I'm just going to sell them and, you know, cut my losses. And I was like, no, as far as I know, I'm the only one who's ever done it like on purpose, and it's so niche that no one cares, but I do. So I'm just going to keep going. I'm really afraid because the only adult breeder female I have left has killed 2 cage mates. And now I have unrelated, I have unrelated juveniles that I would like to pair with her, a female and a male, or no, 2 females and a male that I'd like to pair with her because of the whole family unit thing.
Yeah.
But they're smaller than her. And she's probably, 6 or 7 years old. And these babies are almost 5 now.
Okay.
And they're still smaller, but I'm just like, I'm afraid, man. She killed 2 other lizards that were bigger than her.
Yeah.
So
and which species again?
This is Cordillus rhodesianus.
Oh, okay.
Rhodesian girdle tails. So, so I haven't produced any in, it's 5 years. No, it's got to be 4. Yeah, 4 years going on 5 years since the last litter. So,
wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm afraid, but part of me is like, you only live once, and
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, Phil.
I know, man, but like when you come home and like another breeder adult is dead because it got its ass whooped, like, you know what I mean?
Can you not put them together and at least babysit them for a little bit?
No, because what happens is I put them together, they run for the hills, right? They find a hiding spot, and then at 3 o'clock in the morning, I hear thrashing. I wake up, I turn the lights off, they all stop because the food monkey has scared them. So then I turn the lights off, go back to bed. I wake up in the morning and there's just blood on the rocks. And I'm like, I don't know who's bleeding. Like, what happened? You know, then I'm like, oh, do I separate? Do I not separate? Is this part of courtship? You know, like, obviously there's some tail nipping and some toe nipping and some nape biting, but like a drop of blood is okay. Lots of drops of blood is not okay.
What if you put the one you're introducing into like a small critter keeper or something translucent that they can see through?
It's not like fish, man. They would stress so easily.
Yeah, that's leechies have a similar kind of pattern to where people are like, oh, if I put them next to each other and I put a screen in between them, they'll be fine. And then you'll see them just like stuck to the screen next to each other. Oh, this is perfect. And then you get the, suplex from the top ropes.
As soon as you take away the screen, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of those, Phil? I'm remiss, man. My reminiscence of these is gone.
I'm gonna send pictures to Facebook so I can pull it up easily. Hang on a second.
That's also I think I knew you were working with those, and my silly little child peanut brain deleted it.
Between Marcus and I, we had I think 14 species of Cordillus, and with Cordillus and Smog together.
Yeah. Smogs are the ones that are really famous from Reptiles magazine.
The sun gazers,
Sudan sun gazers or something like that. I'm incorrect, but yeah.
The hold on a second. Where is? Okay. Yeah, so I think we had 13 or 14. I got to look at my notes. 14 different species between Marcus and I. I had like 6 or 7 species at my house. He had like 6 or 7 species at his house, and the sun gazers were at the museum. But
Wow.
I had the Rhodesianus, and I kept an original founding pair at my house and another pair at my parents' house. And the ones at my house consecutively bred. The
That's
ones
awesome.
at my parents' house, which was kept very similar, my dad would get pictures of them locked up, and they never produced. And that's when I moved them to my house and did an introduction, and the bloodbath started.
Oh,
so yeah.
There's so many neat species of lizards that just don't get talked about, that aren't, these massive geckos too. Oh God, I just love geckos. Yeah. Dustin has those spotted night lizards.
Oh yeah, dude.
Dude, those things are so amazing, and you just never hear anybody talking about them.
Yeah, dude, I had them, and I made the mistake of separating babies, and the babies crashed, and then I swear, mom got postpartum and passed.
Yeah. They stay in little family units, just leave them all in the same kind of terraria.
Yeah. All right, let me get these Cordylis photos. Actually, should I just go to the old? Let me just go to the Facebook album. Screw it. I had a Facebook album back in the day, and it's probably just easier to do that and share that screen. Photos. Where the hell are the photos?
Sorry, I derailed us.
No, it's cool, man. This is what we do.
I pictures.
Yes, and it gets people to watch it opposed to just listening to it. For all you people that are listening while you drive, sorry.
Mike just said night lizards will be sweet to herp. Yeah, absolutely. Just flipping logs in the underbrush, looking for lizards. It'd be amazing.
All right, let's share the screen. Window. All right. So
the only night lizard I want is Strophurus.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Those are bad.
Strophurus are amazing too. That's
such a cool lizard.
Yeah,
it's a fucking animal, man.
Oh yeah,
it's like medieval.
Yeah.
That triumph.
So these are the ones that actually that died in shipping, going to a zoo, and that was tragic story. All right, hold on. Sorry for the bad cell phone photos, folks.
God knows
that's
what's gonna pop up.
Marcus.
No, there's Marcus.
Where are the? Oh, here's baby Tropidosternum.
Oh wow!
And you can see that's actually mom's. That's mom's poo or urates from giving birth. So it's amazing how fast they dry too, like having all that like amniotic fluid on them. You know,
that's crazy.
Hold on. So there, this is a Smog Warreni depressus, which Marcus had, and I regret getting rid of them.
Wow,
I should have kept them. They were killer. Just dragons, man.
Yeah, literally.
I mean, dude, look at that tail.
Dude, look at that face.
Yeah,
wow,
right? Yeah. Where the hell are the Rhodesians? Oh, there's the depressus. Dude, how awesome is that marbling?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, killer lizards. Platysaurus. It's like, how many pictures of pores do you need? You know,
all of them.
They're like Abronia's.
They're
like
desert Abronia.
Badass cousin that did time in the pen.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
a lot of these are going to be lowland, grassland.
Yeah.
Species,
Majority of these are grassland, stepland, savanna. Yeah. So this is one of the Rhodesianus. I believe this one is that one is a female.
Is that an adult?
That's a breeder size adult. They can get bigger, but they're on the smaller side, which I like because I can keep them in medium sized exoterras and they do great. And that's something that I'm probably going to try when I do introduce these younger ones with one of the breeder females. Is I think I'm going to either strip down an exoterra and like sanitize the crap out of it so there's no smell, no shed skin, no nothing.
Yeah.
And try that and see if like neutral ground works, or I may even, dare I say, buy a new one
Yeah.
Just to do that, you know?
Yeah. Neutral ground is always a good idea.
Yeah. This is one of the ones that passed away. This was a patternless female. And like, obviously it's got dirt on her, but there's no dots or nothing,
Huh.
which I thought
That's
was
really
super cool. So,
are like a lot of species that look like this, are they live bearing?
yeah. So all the Cordillus, Ouroboros, and Smog are live bearing.
Nice.
This is Tropidosternum. This was one of my favorite planters I did. And they never went higher than, say, the top of those rocks. that was it. It was a waste of a cage.
I love it when people show what they're keeping things in.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, you'll like the pictures that are coming up.
That's cool, man.
Cage. That's a baby Tropidosternum. That was actually, I think that was the first one I ever produced. And just spitting image of mom, just a jet black body with white pattern. So super cute.
That's super cool. That's really cool.
It's literally hours old.
Yeah. And now, do you keep those with the adults for a while?
Yeah. So these, I made a mistake and I separated them, but I kept all the babies together. And the only reason why I did that is because there were multiple males and multiple females in this one enclosure where mom gave birth, and I didn't even know that mom was gravid. I thought she was just fat. And and I separated them. But what I'm doing now is for several other litters with the Barraducci and the Tropidosternum, I kept them together for a little while just to make sure that everyone's cool. But the minute I see a nip tail or I see like dad bowing up on them, I just get them out. Yeah.
Lisa just asked, are these what people are referring to as common name girdled lizards?
Yeah, so these are girdle lizards or girdle-tailed lizards. In America, we call them armadillo lizards, which is not correct. The only armadillo lizard is the Ouroboros cataphractus, which is a monotypic animal. So those I do not have because I cannot afford. This is Mozambicensis.
Wow.
More Mozambicensis. I don't know why that picture's black. Oh, there you go. There's some love making. Little cell phone porn. All right. Where's more enclosure pictures? I'm actually trying to find pictures of the ones that we were talking. Oh, there you go. So those are Rhodesianus after I gave them a bath and made them look all pretty for the photo.
That's awesome.
So that's what they normally look like. And that's a boy on the left, girl on the right.
Nice.
Yeah, and you can see that the boy's got no tail tip.
Yeah.
That's because she bit it off as part of courtship.
Nice.
Yeah. So
women
you can kind of
do that.
Women. Yeah. So
beautiful animals, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like Kris is missing a couple toes.
And my tail.
Oh, nice.
What a neat species.
There's just one photo. I thought it was in here, and it's not. That I'm going to show you guys, and that is I'm sure I've shown it on here before, but that's the sungazer enclosure at the museum before we were obligated to get rid of them. Yeah, and this was let's send that too. And this is all Marcus, man. Marcus did all this himself, and I give him the most props ever. But we were really, really proud of this. I was really proud of it, and the museum was proud of it. And it's a shame that would happen, and it just goes to AZA bullshit and people not caring the way that they should, in my opinion. But this is, let me do this, close this. Why is this still open? All right, hold on. Internet's freaking out on me. Sorry, guys.
So I got to ask my Bill Bradley question. Phil, why don't we see more of these in the hobby?
Because they are regarded as junk lizards, and people don't know how to take care of them properly. It's not that they're difficult at all. It's that they think it's a fire skink, or they think it's a leopard gecko, and they're doing it wrong. And they are high stress. They are super duper high stress. and none of mine are playful. None of mine will let me hold them. They are purely an observation lizard. And I know like the sun gazers, like the real gigantus, those are totally the one of the most intelligent lizards on the planet in terms of knowing people and eating at your hand, and they're on the same level as monitors. But because they're so heavily protected and no one has ever bred them in captivity, it's a moot topic. So
I did not know that. I did not know they've never been produced in captivity.
Yeah, that was actually one of our goals, was to try and attempt to be the first people to ever breed them in captivity. The only people that have ever actually bred them in captivity, most people don't count it as captivity because it's people who live in the Free State in South Africa and naturally have them on their property. And what they do is they basically grab the lizards, put them in their fenced-in area, and then just keep them in their fenced-in area. So, like, yes, they're in captivity, but they're really not.
They're it's their natural occurring habitat. Right. All of the barometric pressures, all of the the monsoon seasons, or all of the
all you did was put a fence around their natural habitat.
It's like building a house on a bowline nest and just being like, I did it, guys.
Exactly the same exact thing. So
been breeding for years.
First photo the first photo is these are fresh import Tropidosternums from Mozambique, and literally they come in bags, and the importer, this particular one was from underground, dumps them out. I was blessed enough to be able to pick through them and see if there was any other species in there and kind of cherry pick which ones I wanted. And then they get separated out, and obviously they're taken care of, properly. They don't just live in a plastic tub like this.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see photos like this because no one ever does. Like, this is the most Tropidosternum most Cordylis I've ever seen in one photo,
Yeah.
So I just think it's a fun photo. But that's the sun gazer enclosure that Marcus built at the museum.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So this was I think 12 by 14 by 10. And it had solar lighting with UVB and A, and it had a ventilation system and a rain system, and the rain system was linked to the GPS. So if it rained in the Free State, it rained in the cage.
Wow.
And we had underground burrows that he made with one-way glass. So on the inside, it looked like mirror, but we could see it with red light and see them in the burrow and chilling with each other. And it had the means to be an amazing project. And it's a shame the way that it ended, but I'm still glad that we got the experience,
Yeah. What amazing animals to just have in your life. Yeah. That's really cool.
I feel like
they look healthy too. They look great.
Oh yeah, dude, they were living life. And I feel like they're probably the reason why I never got back into monitors, because I feel like they're so different than monitors. But if I ever went to a quote unquote big lizard, I'd have to go back to them, and I don't think I ever can. So
yeah, some of the large plated lizards from South America and these are just really, really special. Kind of looking in that picture, I see a bowl, almost looks like it has some greens in it. Is that just debris knocked over, or do they have a varied diet? They're omnivorous.
So we would put some grass clippings in there to try and attract some of the bugs that were loose in the cage.
Okay.
And kind of do that. As far as I know, ours never ate any kind of vegetarian diet whatsoever. I think we tried to give them those beard dragon pellets at one point just to see if they would do it. But I mean, they got everything from crickets, roaches, locusts, worms of all kinds, waxworms, hornworms, mealworms, superworms. And dude, they scarfed it. They scarfed it. So.
One thing kind of on talking about that diet that I'm going to be trying with some of my insectivores. I was listening to a podcast, Strength and Leo's, and it's actually it's a great podcast. If anybody wants to listen to a thing about leopard geckos and bat tails, he's put together. I've now listened to all of them because that's what I do. I have to consume all of it. And one of the girls that was talking about grub pie from Rapashi. And now I have grub pie, and when I had blue tongue skinks, I gave them some grub pie. Huge shout out to blue tongue skinks being the worst animals on the planet. Also, by the way, dude, they're messier than pitch oafs. It's just, it ain't me, dog. You know what I mean? It's not me, it's them. It's not me, it's them.
Yeah.
But anyways, I didn't realize grub pie comes in a whole bunch of different, for the lack of a better term, flavors. Different proteins. Grasshopper. There's all kinds of things. And anyways, this girl was talking about, you may have a bad feeder as a baby, and you can actually sprinkle the dry product on your food source, whether it be dubia, crickets, or mealworms or such, peanut beetles, whatever. And then also you can. She's had leopard geckos and stuff. She'll literally make the cubes, and they'll just come up and start eating it. And I was like, well, now, yeah, because I'm always looking for ways to vary my diets on my gargs and my lychees, because they'll eat pinkies off tongs, and they'll occasionally eat a dubia off tongs, but for the most part, they don't like bugs, right? Like you don't give a 300-gram lychee crickets; it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I bought a couple different flavors of grub pie. For the lychees and the gargs, and leopard geckos, now that I've gone down that rabbit hole, and my coleonyx. I want to see if I could put a little cube in with some of my desert coleonyx and see what happens. We're only doing the animals a favor if we can vary their diets. Also, with varying diets, I don't know. I think you guys know this, and anybody listening, always monitor weight, because some of these off-the-shelf products can lead to getting obese animals pretty quickly. And that's usually byproducts and binders that are in the actual mix. Some of that is not necessarily, obviously it's off camera from what their regular diet would be, right? We're looking at these things, but yeah, I see lizards and stuff like this, and I'm just like, wow, I love a varied diet with my stuff, and it's, I wonder if stuff like that would have worked too. And,
I imagine. Yeah, do you make that stuff just like the what the hell is it, bug burger?
Yeah. It's like you boil water, you put in a certain amount of the mix, you boil it down, and you can cut it into little cubes, and it's like a soft, wet dog food kind of.
Jello.
Yeah, it's like a Jello.
Yeah, and I like the bug burger because you could freeze it, like ice cube tray, freeze it, and or even just freeze it in like a deli cup, and then just use a sharp knife to kind of crack it and break pieces or shards. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You ever feed banana to the lychees? There was a video I remember a while back of someone with a big ass lychee on their arm. They had a banana, and that thing was just going to town on it.
Yeah, I have. I've done bananas and figs. My buddy Carl has a few fig trees.
Nice.
He used a lot for his Stenosaurus, and I would always go over to his house and pull figs off and hand feed Stenosaurus and rhino iguanas and stuff. But I took some home and would squish them and give them to the lychees, and they go nuts, man. They want a very overripe, right? That's what they eat in the wild, is overripe fruits. A lot of stuff that's fallen. But yeah, so yeah, I've done the banana thing. It's super cute. It's kind of, lychees are weird, man. They're polarizing. They're messy, and like some of them really like stuff like that. And some of them are just like, hey, how about you put me down before I explode shit everywhere?
Give me a piece of beef jerky and a Mountain Dew.
Where's my Mountain Dew, you son of a bitch? But yeah, if anybody's feeding fruits or anything to their reptiles, I always suggest look for the most overripe that you can, almost to the point to where we wouldn't be eating it because it's maybe a little brown, a little squishy. Just because animals in the wild don't eat, perfect HMO fruits like we have, and they're probably not set up to digest the fibers. And
do you think the sugar content is higher on those more ripe things?
Yeah, I guess the enzymes haven't broken down yet, right?
Yeah, almost to the point of fermentation. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and I'm not super familiar with how fruit decomposition starts to work, but as those sugars break down, I know that like you said, it pushes into that fermentation level. Where sugars are turning into other enzymes. Just get drunk, see the banana, and they're just like, yeah, give me another round.
Yeah,
drunk lychee sounds horrible.
I got problems. Keep them coming.
Sounds very violent.
Yeah, and Lisa, thank you so much for your kind words. You're awesome.
Yeah, drunk lychees. I'd rather just be drunk with my lychees. I had Shrek out yesterday. Me and my kid were doing some cleaning. I just stuck him on the back of the chair and let him just sit there and look at us and watch what we're doing. And it's so funny that you have such a demon of an animal. And the second he comes out of his enclosure, he's just like, we're best friends that we've ever had.
Nice.
Now that I know that you're not going to kill me.
Right. And it's, man, him and his female, they still battle a little bit. I think I've sent y'all some in the group chat, some fun videos of them being pieces of shit. But they're staying together. They haven't killed each other. They're still, breeding. They're still producing. And I'd say 99% of the time they're sleeping next to each other, which is what you want to see. I'm gonna go against my normal suggestion and put them in a slightly larger enclosure because they're both big. Shrek's 305 grams, and the female's probably 250. Shrek also probably needs to go on a diet. He's a little chum.
That seems like a species though where bigger wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. I would think. Where the more space they can have to get away from each other, you probably I don't
know. So what happens if it's too big of an enclosure? They generate their own little. This is my territory and that's your territory. And if you have like the water bowl on one side and the food in a certain area, they'll fight. So you kind of want to set up the enclosure where everything, all the
symmetrical on both
lead
sides
to one spot. Yeah, but I just want to give them a little more room, just because, in my opinion, they're two big lizards in an 18 by 18 by 24, and I know that's the normal, right? Like that's what people use. In fact,
some of the tight.
Yeah, it seems tight. The big breeders, no names mentioned, but I know some of the biggest breeders of lychees use even smaller. They're like 12 by 12 by 24 deep. It's kind of weird, or 18 by 18 by 24 deep. And they're actually horizontal cages, and they just have like cork tubes in there, and that's how they do it.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also, don't know if that's for ease of cleaning, because there's some messy species you're going to be cleaning a lot.
That's a bio-G size setup.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't want to have them in anything like smaller than a cube. Like a 2-foot cube.
Yeah, it's almost like a small, tall exo laid on its back.
Yeah. So right now I have exoterras that are 18 by 18 by 24, and that's like stock standard lychee breeder. That's what they use, right? Like almost everything. You get your yates, you get your big stuff, and you have to be in a bigger enclosure because they're 18 inches long, right?
Yeah,
they're just massive. 400-gram gecko's a big gecko.
Yeah, man.
But I'm going to be going to I'm hopefully going to get a cube, a 24 by 24 by 24. I'm not adding a lot of space, but that, I'm adding 6 by 6 floor.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not like you're putting them in a 6-foot enclosure. You're adding a little space, but you're doubling surface area in terms of what you can put in there too. So if that means you get to add one more cork tube, that's all the more surface area, right?
Yeah. Okay. There's a company that makes a glass enclosure that's really tall. I think it's an 18 by 18 by 18 by 4 foot glass enclosure.
Yeah, that's a skyscraper, I think.
The skyscraper. Yeah. I know people that have had lychees.
Zoomed makes those.
I know people that have had lychees in those that have fallen and died because they suck so bad at climbing glass, but they will still do it. That if you're spraying them and they start losing their grip, and sometimes they fall. I know one person that had one that slipped off the edge all the way at the top when their mister went off, and they went in and they just found it like dead with its neck all fucked up. And they're pretty stout lizards. I've had some jump and land on the ground. I think if they jump and they know they're jumping and they know it's happening,
they brace for impact.
They brace for impact. They do their little belly flop thing where they look just absolutely ridiculous. When they jump exactly 4 inches from your hand.
I had some cresteds do that too, and I'm 6 foot and change, and like they jump from my hands and land on the floor, and I'm like, how do you not have like internal bleeding or something?
And they bounce when they land, and then when they stop bouncing, they run. They just go boom. Gargs and cresteds. It's the weight of the animal also, right? Like equal and opposite reactions. I've had gargs and cresteds jump like absolute batshit idiots, and they're fine. There's no problems at all.
Yeah.
We're talking about something that's like really bad. These are things you don't want to happen, but these are things we're all going to experience if you have.
Yeah, man.
Babies do it all the time, and just like you're saying, cresteds are.
I had a couple of cresteds that were just like not psychotic, but they were just like never would calm down. Just anytime you had any sort of you touched them, if they didn't drop their tail, like it was almost guaranteed that they were gonna. You couldn't hold on to them. It's like as soon as you picked them up, they were jumping constantly. Yeah. No matter how many times they hit the floor, they were going to do it again. Just
cresteds are. Don't let anything I'm saying discredit crested geckos. Crested geckos are amazing, right? You're talking about one of the most variable species in the lizard world. Their ease of keeping, ease of breeding.
Yeah.
They're great first pets. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. If they were rare in the hobby, if they were like a Natalis or something, if they were the rarest gecko on the planet and somebody handed you one and it was just sitting there and you got to touch it and hold it and experience that, your mind would, you'd be just absolutely blown. You would not be able to stop thinking about it. Like, wow, how soft this animal is, how beautiful it is, the structure of it, right? There's no reason for anything like this to exist, and yet it does. It's here in my hand, and you know, we kind of discredit them because they're the floopy single cell brain animals that we know and love. But
yeah,
that's how it goes.
Nothing going on between the eyes.
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
well, it's so deceiving because I feel like when you first learn to interact with rackies, they look like they know what's up, and they're like, "Hey, man, you're gonna take me out. You're gonna feed me." And then the minute you get in your hand, it's like
the bird brain kicks in. They're like, "Fly, run."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
danger.
You know, danger. It's like, I don't know. You know, Coleonyx are the opposite. You go to even look at them, you just pull up. You know, I've got mine. I've had display enclosures, tubs. I've kept them every way possible you can keep them. The second you look at them, they're just like shit, and just boom, gone. Yep.
See, those cave geckos are the opposite. Like the cave geckos just don't move.
They don't.
They just sit there, and I'm like,
they can't move fast.
I had one try to jump out of my hand the other night. I'll show my dad.
Really?
Like normally I pick them up and they just sit there.
My wild caught male,
freeze.
Every time he sees me, he'll start posturing up and he arches his back and his tail starts doing the thing, and he just does that. And I'm like, nah, man, I just want to like make sure you're alive. I'm gonna leave you alone, homie. He's like, all right, okay.
I don't mess with mine. I throw some doobie in there periodically, and it's like, I'm assuming you guys are eating these things. You don't look like you're losing weight, so they just exist. Like that's it.
That is a weird species. That it's like the more you interact with them, the worse they're gonna do. And you just leave them alone, and you give them bugs and water, and double check. And they latrine, I believe is the correct term. They poop in the same spot every time.
Yeah.
So you get to, they're super easy to clean. You know, most I've now realized that most eublepharid do that, and I guess I kind of knew that, but seeing it through multiple species, having a it's my kid's fault. It's not my fault, guys. Phil, I mean, I love leopard geckos. I always have. I bred them back 2000.
It was all our first gecko.
99, 2000. Bred them blue calcium sand, neon blue calcium sand.
Yeah,
a hot rock. You know, a couple hides.
Been there, baby.
Fed them crickets.
T-Rex sand. That brings
T-Rex
memories.
Black sand.
Please tell me that when you brumated eggs, or I'm sorry, incubated eggs, it was in a old butter container that your mom gave you that she had just cleaned out.
I never got eggs.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow circular tub before they went to the rectangular tubs.
Yep.
Some of them even had Fabio's face in the side.
Yes.
And I can't believe it's not butter. And it was just wet vermiculite that I squished with my hand and had no idea what I was doing. That's it.
And then, you know, back then I was told to make sure that the vermiculite, at least on the top, was dry. I put them in on the top of the closet, top shelf in the closet, leave them alone. And then after, I forget what it was, 70, 80 days, you start checking them because, you know, it takes forever to incubate them at that time. And I just remember those first little crested geckos looking at me, or little leopard geckos sitting there looking at me. And then they go, bah! And they have the little squeaks. And so you get a critter keeper, right? Because that's the obvious option.
Yes, of course.
You fill it full of neon blue calcium sand, right? And then you have a heat lamp you've fixated up on, you know, 2 PlayStation games over here on the right, so that it's not going to melt the plastic.
Skater 2.
Yeah, you got your 120 watt bulb you put in there, and you got your black light bulb from the mall, and that's what you're going to put on them at night.
Did you have the plastic cow skull? The little tiny plastic cow skull with the horns?
Yeah, I did not.
Oh, man.
Everything. Dude, 1999, 2000, everything in my room had Haba hides. Bro, I was the Haba hide champion of South Texas.
That's
everything.
Awesome.
Haba, yo, you need to hide, Haba it up, dog.
Jake was giving me a hard time because I've got 3 horns in the critter keepers, but the flatter ones, like the bigger, like flatter but wider ones. He's like,
dude,
I haven't seen one of those since I was like 10.
Dude, that's what I have the Pseudocerastes in them right now.
That's
I love them.
I do.
If it works, it works.
It works
you know, the ones
really well.
Can't complain about ventilation in those bad boys.
No, you can't. It's sketchy. It's sketchy as fuck when you're trying to pick it up with vipers in them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would imagine. Phil, I think we had 2 sizes when we were kids. That would have been a small and a medium, or a medium and a large, which is the little tiny one, and then the slightly bigger one.
So, all right. So I won't lie. So the ones that I use for the Pseudocerastes, they're the large flat ones that are made by Exoterra. They're black lids. And it's
these are like old school Critter Keeper ones.
Oh no, I can't do that with vipers. But basically, this is Exoterra's version of a Critter Keeper.
Yeah,
and it's probably 6 or 7 inches tall by a foot by 8 inches wide. And then I tape the little doors, the little flappy doors. I tape them shut, and then I put packing tape on top with arrows that says "lift here," so that way I'm not like having a lapse of consciousness and I pick it up wrong and get tagged. But they work like $1 million, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you have the like the little flaps on top that, at least with the old Critter Keepers, where it's like you either could not get them closed or open, or
it never locked.
Zero. Yeah, there was like no resistance whatsoever. It was like a slight breeze could lift it open.
Yeah, I the first geckos I did breed were gold dust day geckos, and I had my pair in a pretty nice looking 10-gallon aquarium, right? With the little clamps on it, shout out to whoever made those little clamps so that they can't lift their
those
lid.
Little C clamps.
Yeah, with a fish store UV light on it and a heat lamp. And the babies, when I got those babies, I put them in a Critter Keeper because what else would I do, right? And then I went to go check on them a couple of days in, and I was like, "Where are the babies?" And then I found one on the wall, and then it fell. Yeah, and then Phelsuma. Gold dust egg geckos, if they've proven anything from all of their new localities, those just keep breeding, right? They don't stop breeding. You're going to have 20 babies in a year if you're not careful.
Easily.
And I was specifically not careful. Well, what I decided to do was tape all of the slats on the Critter Keeper, but I didn't do it from the inside. I did it from the outside. And because I'm dumb, the first time I did that, the babies got stuck and died in the tape trying to get out, which, live and learn. What I ended up doing was Mom's old gallon glass jars, and I put screen over, like a screen door screen from the hardware store, and just rubber bands over it, and that actually worked great. Yeah, it was the best way to do it. And I would just get more babies. I'd put more babies in there. I probably had 6 babies at a time, and I just throw a million little pinhead crickets in there and watch them go crazy. And they grow real fast. And now we're lucky. Last time, probably 5 years ago, when I bred line day geckos, lineatus, I think it is. One's lineaticollis and one is lineatus, I think. I kind of knew this going in, but they eat crested gecko diet, right? So you don't even have to worry about finding little tiny crickets. And so 80% of the diet I gave my day geckos anyways was crested gecko diet. And day geckos, I think every show I ever talk about day geckos, when I retire, I'm going to have all of them that are still in the hobby at least. But just that's not a species I'm having now. It requires a lot of attention. It requires not having a 6-year-old in your room because they're lightning fast.
Yeah.
It just a lot more. Cleaning is a little more difficult. There's a time spent with those that is unique, and one day I'll have that time, and I'm excited to do it again.
Walls of the cage is what it is.
Yeah. Grandis, Grandis and a display enclosure are just
an
amazing species.
That's what I had.
The worst.
I had one. I had a female, and she was oh my god, it was messy as shit.
The most beautiful thing ever that you hate.
And you can't touch.
Can't touch.
It's like, what's your natural defense? Oh, I dropped my tail. What's your natural defense? I shoot blood from my eyes. What's your natural defense, Mr. Giant Day Gecko? Oh, I let you rip my skin off when you touch me. It's like, okay, all right, cool. That doesn't sound very indicative to a good time. Are you sure you survived?
I have the paper thin skin of a 90-year-old elderly person in a nursing home.
Oh god,
it comes right off with a sponge bath.
Oh man. But yeah, it's just one of those species that just rock solid, easy to do, but still complex and requires a specific parameters and time. And yeah, did you ever breed them, Justin?
No, I just had the one.
They're impossible to find the eggs, and then they glue their eggs to things, and if you don't get them fast enough, it's fun. There's a process to all of it. I think all of these questions and things have been solved, right? Like people have a way of doing this now. But yeah, They're fun, man. Just another one of those things that's just super great to keep.
When you decide that you're done with corns and you want to focus entirely on your geckos, you let me know.
I don't think that's now. I really like the corn snakes. There's God, you open up a tub with a corn snake in it and you smile every time. I sent that one picture. I spam the group chat with pictures all the time because I just don't ever actually post them to social media. Of my 2 North Carolina foothills corns, dude, they just start coming out. They're chill. They're gorgeous, and I've cohabbed them forever. They're definitely going in some kind of a display enclosure someday. They're just so neat. Such an inquisitive animal. They're babies are dumb as rocks, and they're all defensive, and they get so pissy they'll flip themselves over, and some of them don't want to eat. Yeah, we've got those problems to deal with, but God, a corn snake is just a damn good animal. I don't understand why people wouldn't love them.
Yeah, I don't know. And Eric sent me a surprise mail with the first 2 females he sent me. And that one's in shed right now, and I think it was in shed when it was starting to darken up when it came in. So I'm really curious to see what it looks like after shed. But it's a diffused tessera, het, amel, anery, and lavender.
Amel, anery, lavender. Okay.
So I don't know where he's gonna fit into things down the line, but like lavender's another one that I would like to sort of at least have a little bit of.
Lavender's cool. There's some inherent problems with some of the lines in lavender, but I'm willing to try to kind of investigate that with my collection and see how it does. And there's nothing wrong with having something that doesn't.
It seems almost like it's one of those problems though that sort of got made to seem bigger than it actually is.
Sure.
Kind of like how people were very hesitant to feed mice to jungle carpets out of fear of them never going back to anything else.
Really? I don't think I ever heard that.
Yeah, there's like
a lot of animals.
And I don't know if that's really that serious of a problem as people made it out to seem. I feel like it's one of those things where a couple of people had that issue, and then all of a sudden it turned into everyone will have that issue. Morphs into.
Well, see, I found that I've had that issue with a couple different animals, not jungles specifically, but a couple different animals that were choosy, but not to sound cruel or inhumane. But let's just say if the animal's hungry enough, it will eat. If it's been eating. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I was about to say, Phil, can you please come over and tell baby I'll turn to that? But no, if it has been eating, yes, it will eat. Yeah.
If that's the case though, like wasn't it kind of set to be that way anyways?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like if the animal was going to be that picky, you'd be doing that regardless.
No, because like, for example, I've had baby carpets that, I got them on fuzzies, right? And then I graduate to rat pinks, and then I graduate to rat pups. And I'm like, I don't have any rat pups. I'll give it a small mouse. It eats the mouse. Now it never wants a rat ever again. So I wait like 3-4 months, and I'm like, hey, here's another rat pup. And they're like, oh, food. I'll eat this. And they eat it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But
it seems like an issue that's
cheers, Phil.
Not as big as
Tink, Kavanaugh, single malt.
Really is. So.
Nice. Lisa asked, have you guys heard of the Red Zeppelins? What morph combo are those?
Oh, yes.
Red Zeppelins are interesting because not only are they a morph, but they're also a locality line-bred animal.
Really?
Red Zeppelins are Okatee locality, so they're going to be Jasper County, South Carolina. And they are from the Okatee Hunt Club. And it is an albino line that popped up in the Okatee animals. And I do have a pair. My male is visual. My female's het. From Tony D produced the female. My male was produced by Craig Trumbauer. But they are shockingly gorgeous. They are
pictures don't do them justice. You have to see the fully.
I was going to say which one am I looking at here?
Second
night, and then you see him at Trumbauer's table at Daytona.
One?
Oh my god,
that's one of Tony D's. Yeah.
Wow,
dude, that's an animal. That's a good animal right there. That's a quality. That is a spectacular looking critter. Also, they have Sunkissed originated from this line. So there are some sun-kissed albinos and just sun-kissed. Yeah. So Tony D's, a lot of those have sun-kissed in them. There are pure sun-kissed. Now the sun-kissed aren't the red Zeppelins, but you can have red Zeppelins that are sun-kissed or het sun-kissed. The red Zeppelins are just the albinos. That right there, there's your sun-kissed Okidee right there. Which
That's
is
awesome.
A damn good, damn fine snake right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
that's awesome.
Yeah. Also, kind of wondering if you have a jungle carpet python, which isn't a huge python, and I know very little of pythons, but if it just eats mice, is there anything wrong with just feeding it jungle mice? I mean,
no.
Feed more of them. Like,
yeah.
I mean, let's be
like
real.
smaller meals more often, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I've never had. I think the biggest rat I've ever given an adult jungle was a medium, and that animal was a diamond cross, an F1 diamond cross that was 7 foot. So
Wow.
like I don't feel like it needs it. I feel like we give it because it's easy. You know what I mean? Like, do I give it one medium rat a month, or do I give it one ex-breeder mouse once a week?
Yeah.
Personal preference. And Justin, do you want to chime in?
I was reading comments. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, Kasicki said that the sun-kissed popped up in Howie Sherman's Okidee line clutches. So there you go.
What was the question?
I don't know if my female is sun-kissed or not, but it does not look like a normal Okidee baby, and I need to reach out to Craig, or Mr. Trumbauer, actually. That's how we pronounce his name.
Yes.
And because he gave me he gave me this gift bag that was like tied with a bow that had all this information.
Oh, that's awesome.
One of
He
his
takes
close
the red
friends.
Zeps seriously, man.
Yeah. His Matt Morris, local Texas, Justin, you know him, Chondro guy. We've been to shows together, and he's a sweetheart of a human. He actually is really big into the Okidee stuff, and he reached out to Trumbauer for me and told him that I was coming to Daytona and was interested in a pair, and sent me a text message. Actually, he called me. Matt Morris called me and was like, "Hey, man, Craig's going to hold you a pair. Just go talk to him." And Justin was there when I got to meet him.
That's
and
awesome.
he had this like personal note from him to me about these. And man,
I still
super cool.
I'm still kicking myself for passing, like not getting one of those ultra males that Tony D had.
Those are really nice. He'll have them again.
Oh yeah, he's the first people I'm going to next year.
I think I came home with a lot of animals. I came home with animals I didn't think I was going to be getting, and I had a month or so of stress.
In true Daytona fashion.
Yeah, and then when I came home, so I got Ximenes Situla. I got the leopard rats.
Yeah, how are those doing?
They're doing great. They don't really like frozen thawed. They really like live.
I was going to ask you, do you know the locality on them or no?
No, I do not have locality info on
do you think they're mutt localities or no?
I can reach out to Jordan and ask him.
I was going to say I don't think Jordan would probably keep track of that.
I'm sure he's got it. But in true Kris Painschab fashion, I got home and was like, well, now I have to buy all the Ximenes that I can find. And so I reached out to a guy that had Scalaris, the ladder rat snakes, and Aesclepalian rat snakes. And I forget the scientific name for the Aesclepalians. And I was going to get a pair of each. And then I kind of was like, okay, look, you just bought like 10 snakes. And this year was like specifically, I wasn't going to be getting more snakes.
If you hadn't bought those damn king snakes, you could have gotten them.
That's true, but I did get those king snakes. Man, I don't know.
I don't understand it.
And look, man, as much as I love Ximenes, I think I'd rather have Lampros.
Hell no.
Well, I have a sweet little collection of
Nipper's
locality.
Literally screaming with the radio right now. If you heard me say that,
yeah, I have a. Well, I ended up getting the Scalaris, so I have the pair of ladder rats, which are really, really cool because they're rowdy little Greek Pityophis, and they're cute as hell, and they have this hiss that's different than the Pityophis hiss.
Yeah,
and they're full of just piss and vinegar.
Little raccoon masks.
Yeah, and they're like really nippy, which was surprising because the Ximenes, the leopard rats aren't too bad. They're not super nippy. The ladder rats are. But yeah, I have a sweet little collection of locality Gatula stuff. I've got my Baja rats that I produced last year, the Conjuncta.
Nice.
or Baja. I'm sorry, not Baja rats. Baja Kings, the conjuncta, the Ciudad Insurgences, and they're going to breed again this year, hopefully. Those were such badass babies. I held back a female, and then I have Brawley, California, Hypermel Cow Kings. I've got Long Beach Grease Kings from Dr. Lockman.
Wow.
I've got F1 Las Cruces, New Mexico, Splendida. So they're nice little.
You know what would really top off that whole lineup is a wonderful little albino stripe mosaic something.
You know the one I liked that Keller showed was that kind of real yellow striped banana-ish looking one. That one was badass.
This one looks just like that, except instead of black, it has white.
Yeah. Justin, I think you deserve to raise that animal.
I don't want to. I thought Keller was joking, and he's like, "I'm bringing you a king snake." So I was like,
I love Keller so much, dude.
So
what a great guy!
You're hilarious, and then he's like, "Here you go." I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
He's the man.
I officially I don't like Getula.
Well,
Easterns,
you're crazy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anything.
Really cool, man.
I just.
You need to. What you need to actually mess with are either speckled kings, so the Holbrook guy, or desert kings, the Splendida. They're really cool.
I've had both. It's been a very, 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 very long time. Like I was talking like early 2000s. Yeah, and didn't enjoy those either. So
I'll tell you what, man. I always
you cannot sell me on these. Like Getula, you can't. Easterns are the exception, but even then, I don't really want to keep Easterns either.
Getula is. It's just that's it for me. With like they're there. You know what I mean? Like there are kings. You know.
Yeah.
But I always wrote off Splendida just because I was like, everyone has them, man.
Yeah.
They're not, whatever. And then I saw one in the wild, man, and it just like I want
badass.
I want it, but I have so many king snakes right now that I'm like, I mean, I don't have nearly as many as you, but I did get me and wow, I lost my train of thought right now. Wow, holy crap. Anyway, Sean and I both got pairs of Outer Banks from Doc Wolfman.
Yeah, the OBX.
The OBX, baby.
Those are cool, dude. Those are badass.
They were my late mentor's favorite, and he gave me when he moved to North Carolina, because at the time they're still protected, but you couldn't have them in North Carolina. So he gave me his last adult male, and it died. It was like 15 years old or 16 years old, whatever. But dude, now I got him again, and like they're so fucking cute, man. They're just the cutest of cute.
They're badass, dude.
Yeah.
And as adults, everybody has this thing, Florida Kings or Eastern Kings. Oh, they're just not as good looking as adults as they are as babiys. OBX Kings as adults are like cookies and cream, speckled goodness, just
cookies and cream.
Dude, they're big.
They can get you the fuck away from me. How about that?
Oh God, Smitty,
the albinos are the worst too, because I got those little like albino eyes, like an albino rabbit. burning with rage.
Shocker, you guys heard it here first. Albino snakes have albino eyes.
Spoiler alert.
Oh God, Smitty, you don't know what you're missing.
I surely do. I've had my fair share of Getula stuff over the years since I was a kid and to now, and I'm sorry, like every one that I've had, I'm like just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, there is a drastic sharp line in between Getula and Mexicana stuff, and the Montane
Mexicana stuff I love, like,
and then your Montane stuff, and then your Caligaster brackets, right? There's 4 different brackets of kings in North America, and same thing with rat snakes, right? You have your Pantherophis, but you have your Obsoleta stuff and your Gutata stuff,
and that's a good point. Hardin says, where do you? He says it's not Alterna, but I really enjoy his Mexican black.
Yeah,
but where do you put Alterna? Like I would put them in that Caligaster.
They're the
Caligaster clade. You know what I mean?
Alterna are absolutely a Mexicana species. Alterna used to not even be Lampropeltis. They were all grouped in the where all the Mexicana stuff was grouped into. I forget. It was Ophidio something.
They should have stayed there.
Yeah, no, the Mexicana stuff. So there's a bigger range in Mexico, like 4 times the size of the North American range of Alterna, is in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, and so they also interbreed with Leonis. So you go south from where we find them in Texas, and there's also a little pocket in New Mexico where you can find them, but it's in an area where it's illegal to collect them.
Yeah,
I don't
New
know.
Mexico's like really hardcore about that.
Yeah, and I've talked with Dr. Loft about it. I have some F1 New Mexico stuff, and he's like, "Well, did you buy it?" I was like, "No, it was actually gifted to me." He's like, "Do you know where it came from?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Were they legally collected the wild ones?" And as far as I know, yes, they were actually sold at a show, and it was a good show. So like that does its homework. But yeah, there's some weird stuff with New Mexico and collecting. But yeah, so then you have your Leonis, and they're kind of split by the Tamaulipas mountain range. Gray banded king snakes also have been proven to interbreed with annulata. So your Mexican milk snake. There's a gentleman that did a whole write up on it. He had some, and he was like, "Look, if I take this snake and I breed it to a gray band, I get all gray bands. If I take this snake and I breed it to an annulata, I get all annulatas." Wow. What's going on here? So he started breeding them. Anyways, there was a little group of them that were found. And when you see that snake, the head structure, because Alterna have that like extremely squished, flat, dumbass eyes.
Stout.
They look like a subok. They kind of have their own. They're very specific looking. But then you find that same look in a lot of the Mexicana stuff. Your Leonis, your Greerai, your Ruth Van Eye, your Mexicana. All the sweet little treats that we have down there in Mexico. I'm breeding a bunch of Leonis this year. I'm bringing a bunch of Alterna this year. Next year I'll do Mex. So no, I don't have any Ruth Van Eye yet. There were some at Daytona. I don't have any Greerai yet.
I feel like the Ruth and I that are out there right now. I mean, I don't know the people that are breeding them, but and this is not a slight against them.
Yeah,
but I feel like there's been so much hybridization with Ruth and I that it's almost impossible to really know.
Yeah. The big problem,
a pure thing.
Yeah, is so the first albino tricolor was produced in the 80s by Terry Huring, and that was a Ruth Van Eye. It popped up in his captive collection, and he proved it out. That snake was then bred into Leonis and everything else to make your pastel kings and all that stuff. And so now that's why people are so strict on locality and lineage with all these animals. They want, John, obviously very lucky to have him as a friend. He actually has locality Ruth Van Eye. And so it's strict lineage. People want to know everything about that lineage. They want to know everything about the locality. And that's why people are so, I think, anal with gray bandeds. Is it's like, I want to know what cut the adults were found on. I want to know what cut the F1s came from. I want to know everything about that locality because we still can. And there was a point there for a long time where we lost that. It was illegal to collect Alterna in Texas for years. I don't remember the year that changed, but I think it was like 2011 it became legal again. But I believe from I want to say like 05 or 06 to 2011. I may be talking out of my ass a little bit, but it was illegal to actually go hunt them.
That's wild.
Which is wild because it's not like fucking anybody finds them.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you wonder if the heyday, like 80s, whatever, if there was a shitload of them, and that's why we can't find them.
Yeah, they're definitely. Yeah, I think they're just impossible to find.
I'd love to talk to someone who herped those same cuts back 30 years ago, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we found one a year." You know what I mean? Because if they say that, then okay, cool. If they're like, "Oh, now we find 4 or 5 a week," well, then we know that something happened.
Yeah, I think John found one in the 90s, and then didn't find another one for like 20 years or something.
Wow.
But I know people that have gone for years and years and years and years and have never seen one.
Yeah.
They're just so but also remember, Texas, we can only hunt for those snakes on the road,
those cuts,
on those cuts. And the private land in West Texas is massive. It's absolutely massive. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of acres of private land that you can't put your foot on. And who knows? I know Dan Johnson back in the day was able to herp some private land over on Black Gap. And that's where a lot of the Black Gap animals come from. Was because he was able to get out on those actual mountain ranges and find them. It flipped for him at night because they're such a secretive species.
Yeah. What's interesting is, we're talking about West Texas and talking about herping the cut. So when Anna Marie and I were on our recent trip, and this is something I want to bring up to you two guys and Bill and Jake and kind of get everybody together on this in our future THN, host meetings. But she brought up a great point. Is we were driving through the mountains in western North Carolina, and we came across a big rock wall on the side of the highway. And she said to me, she goes, "Hey, is this one of those cuts like you guys always talk about?" Because she's never been to West Texas. And I was like, yeah, this is it. I mean, obviously this one's way too big and way too high, and it's not the right kind of terrain. But yeah, essentially it's instead of going over the mountain or over the bluff or over the hill, they just burn through it or bomb, TNT through it. And it makes this little rock wall on either side of the highway. And she's like, hey, you guys should really do an episode or in future things, explaining some of the slang words that we use or some of the herper terminology that we use, because I'm sure there's a lot of listeners, a lot of watchers who have no idea what a cut is. Maybe they took the 2 minutes to Google it, herping the cut, and somebody had a photo of something. But for those of you who are unaware, it is rock walls on either side of the highway. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's something we should definitely cover in the near future. Yeah,
that'd be super cool, because there are, and it's, I've said, this is one of the coolest families to join, and being into herpetoculture, being into herping, being into going and looking for these things, and also being into keeping these things. But yeah, there's a lot of very like selective terminology we use. Getting down into even just breeding and how we're doing things, we'll use terms that we think are just so normal,
right?
And it's because we think it all the time, or we read it, or we write it, or we text it, and that's like the Venom Exchange Radio. And I think the first thing I told you, I love the show, but you gotta use a common name every once in a while. Because venomous guys are a very specific breed of human that only uses scientific names, and it's like that's it.
Yeah, but it's all relative as to what you like and what you're keeping and what you're enthusiastic about. I mean, we just had we just had a 20-30 minute conversation about, for lack of a better synonym, king snake, right? So we said Ruth and I and Pyromelana and Alterna and all these like we know all the, and Getula.
Ooh,
yeah, daddy tingles. So Brooks eye. So just made Smitty's stomach turn. I hear that cork. But yeah, I think that it is something that we should definitely touch base on in the future. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And then also we have like slang names for species too. That and it's kind of funny. That my wife, she's always like, it just always sounds like you're talking a foreign language, and I'm like, ha, I am. You know what I mean? This is Latin.
It's a dead language.
It's the dead language.
I mean, Katie, like with the Jansenii, she doesn't know him by any other name. So
I literally
when
don't.
The Jansenii got out.
They're
like,
cool.
She's like, Janseni's out.
Yeah, but see, that's a great example of how I don't. Is there a common name?
I have no idea.
Celebs, black-tailed rat snake.
Yeah, but see,
Jansenii it is.
Yeah, Jansenii it is. Yeah.
That's why I say Jansenii, because like black-tailed rat snake is just same thing with macklets.
Is there a common name?
Too long. What?
Is there a common name for macklocks?
Macklets python.
Matlocks.
Yeah,
Matlocks.
It's Macklots.
Macklots. Am I literally saying?
You're saying it correctly. Smitty's not.
Bastard.
Depends on who you ask.
That's I obviously I don't know dingle from a berry as far as carpet pythons, but that's one that I've learned pretty well, and now I've got the book. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. There's a lot of different carpet pythons, and then there's localities of carpet pythons, and then there's morphs, and what's a combination, and what's a butt.
Well, what I think is funny is, even though they just redid the taxonomy in what I would say, in my personal opinion, is amazing and for the better, they really cleared some stuff up. I feel like the carpet and the Morelia people, there's another one, Morelia, right? The Morelia people, they go off of phenotype and locality more than they ever go off of scientific name, because there's 15 different locality and or phenotypes to the one species or subspecies.
Yeah. So. Yeah. It's the same thing like the obsoleta guys. We none of us agree with the lumping. but I don't have Hendry County Rosalie, right? I have Hendry County Everglades.
Yeah, but see, and that's where I'm so happy that you educated me to that recently, because as much as I love to say Alleganensis,
yeah,
fuck Alleganensis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's they just there's got to be some kind of the hobby figures it out. It's like all the Mexicana stuff with the Lampros in Mexico. We all decided to just use the trinomial name, right? Like we say, we don't go Lampropeltis mexicana ruthveni. We definitely don't call Mex-Mex. It's so we don't call them the San Luis Potosi king snake, or there's they all have these names, but we're just like, nah, man, that's and Leonis are the best one if you really want to shit on someone, because it's the variable king snake. It's the Nueve Leon king snake. It's the Lampropeltis theri. It's Lampropeltis leonis.
Forever
theri. It's forever theri. It's also, I call them leonis. I call them theri. I bounce behind.
And see, that's funny, because if I'm going to write the scientific name, I'm going to put theri. But if I'm talking to you guys, it's totally leonis.
Well, it has been. It is now Lampropeltis mexicana leonis.
Okay.
But then a lot of people, there's Leonis phase, there's theri phase, and then there's the milk snake phase, and a lot of people are thinking that maybe that should have gotten split. We should have theri and Leonis, and I don't know. I'm not taxonomy's fake.
It all goes back to the fact that chondros haven't been chondros for how long, but we still call them chondros because that's what they are. So,
because there's not a better python out there. That's why.
There's some really cool pythons out there, Justin. I think chondros are really neat, but I think if you call any of them better, right? Maybe we could just say there's like a top 3, right?
Yeah, chondros.
We all agreed that I thought Bredli was. I thought Bredli was unanimous the superior Morelia. Was it not?
In terms of keeping, but in terms of like greatest of all time, no.
Well, nobody asked my opinion.
Look, there's only one true chondro, and that's Chondrodactylus.
False.
My man done brought up the bent toes. Let's go. That's something else that one day I want to try. Those are great. Bent toed geckos. So chondros, because I'm dumb. What is the what was, I know it was chondropython, but what was the actual old scientific name?
Chondropython viridis.
Okay, so it was chondropython viridis. So now they're all Morelia viridis, and then there's it's branched off a couple
subspecies. Now there's 4 subspecies.
Yeah.
So if you take the left side, that is Papua, West Papua, you split it into like 4 sections, basically, into 4 like quadrants. That's how that was broken up in terms of subspecies. So.
And there are some in Australia, right? Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm uploading the photo of the map right now.
Nice.
So keep talking.
Yeah, I think if I was going to say that I had a Morelia that I thought was the coolest, Billy, introduced me to the Nova Guineas. And me and Jake have talked a lot about IJs. I don't know. I guess Papuan pythons now.
IJs.
IJs. I think IJs and Nova Guineas are kind of the coolest. I think they're a little bit more stout, a little tougher. I think they're really pretty looking. One day, hopefully zoning changes here. We're able to fix some laws, and I'll be able to keep some pythons, kind of formulate an opinion from there.
I don't think they'll ever go back to chondropython. Lisa asked if, will they ever go back to that? And I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either.
I think if they do, they'll go back to Morelia fairly quickly. Like there's certain people that likely will not let that stand. So
yeah.
Wouldn't bother me if they did, because it has zero bearing on how I keep them. So
speaking of something that there's absolutely no drama or confliction in the hobby about, what would be badass is if you took an animal that specifically lives on sticks and bred it to an animal that specifically lives underground.
Oh, Jesus!
Saw what came out of that.
Here it
we could call it a tree ball python.
Oh God!
And I think that would be a pretty neat looking animal.
Stir in that pot.
I'm not even like upset about it. It's just because at this point we've seen so many just bizarre, dare I say, stupid crosses that it's like, okay, whatever.
How do you even keep that animal, right? Like the care for these two animals is very different, right? One's a cooler temp, arboreal, higher humidity. One of them is a for like, fossorial species that's higher temp, drier. I'm guessing. I don't know if think about ball pythons.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to live in a rack on paper towels and water bowl, just like everything else.
Okay, so I lied. If you take both sides of what is New Guinea and Papua and split it into 4, there you go.
Okay, that's awesome.
So yeah, you've got Morelia viridis, which is going to be down here and also into northern Queensland, the Cape York. Excuse me. And then you have, Morelia azurea, which is going to be up here.
This is insular, it looks like.
Your Beox and such.
Yep, Beox and such. Then you have Morelia azurea utarensis, which is going to be your northern Papua above the mountain range.
Yeah. And
then you have your Morelia azurea pulcher, which is going to be your far west Indonesia or far west Papua Irian Jaya. Just over here. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone was asked, like, in the group chat was asking what they think, will those ball python green trees, how will they look as adults? And I think it's going to look like straight garbage.
Have you ever seen a pile of dog shit?
Okay, hear me out. All right. Anytime I see a carpondro that has more of the carpet or other species in it than chondro, they just don't look good as adults.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, and I'm sure there's some exceptions, but for the most part, when I see something that's high percentage carpet to low percentage chondro, it does not look great. When it's the other way around, it's a different story. Higher percentage chondros to lower percentage carpets, they do look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in pairing a green tree to a ball python other than to just see what happens.
To do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. People trying to stir the pot, and they did just that. And I think Billy Hunt said it best, is that when you have the 50-50 carpondro, you really get to harness both attributes of both animals. When you have like 75% carpet, or even 66% carpet, it kind of just looks like a funky carpet. It doesn't have those the yin and the yang, so to speak.
Kind of looks like a shitty jungle carpet.
Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't even call it shitty. It's different.
Yeah. So if you take two carpondros and breed them together, do you get like a variation, or do they all look?
I don't think anybody's successfully done it yet.
They may be sterile also. I don't know. I know a lot of hybrids.
I'm pretty sure that there's a couple people that have done 50% to 50%, and it basically produced more of the similar thing. It's because it's still 50% regardless how you cut the pie.
Yeah.
It's how do you add morphs into that to really highlight and augment stuff like the jagpondros, because jagpondros are crazy. Talk about a yellow snake,
Yeah. And so now you have a snake that wants to blow its actual interior guts out while stargazing. I love it. There's nothing better.
Well, or you have one like mine. Like I have a pure jag, right, from Billy, and that is one of the most attractive animals in my entire collection.
Fucking gorgeous, yeah.
It does not stargaze at all. It has no signs of neurological whatsoever, and its sole purpose in life is to end yours. And honestly, I have no idea what I'm going to do with that animal, because the goal was to make it a pet, and it's far past that. I mean, like, Satan wouldn't play with this animal. So honestly,
we call that the Billy Hunt special.
Yeah, I'm tempted to honestly get a green tree and just pair it to a green tree.
Fuck it.
Yeah, right. Honestly, the reason why is because it shows no signs of neuro. It really does. Yeah. So
I think my thing on the hybrids with green tree pythons is, like, I grew up in this world where green tree pythons were like the end game, right? Like, not really anybody figured it out. Dude, when you're talking late 90s, they were keeping them in fucking 10 gallons with like water in the bottom.
Yeah.
And like a stick, and obviously we learned that's not that wasn't right.
How about this? I have friends that bred them that way.
Yeah,
2 adult chondros in a 10-gallon tank with 3 inches of water on the bottom and 1 stick going across the top with a heat lamp, and they bred and produced.
There was a guy in Texas that bred them, and he sold babies in critter keepers with a heat pad and a thermostat on the side with sticks in it and half an inch of water. And he was like, "Yeah, you just keep them like this your whole life." And he was breeding them that way And
That's
it's like,
crazy.
what? No way.
Crazy.
And again, this is, late 90s. Huge shout out to Neon Blue Calcium Sand, getting me through high school. I used it for everything I could. But
even
yeah,
ate some himself to help give his bones some to fight off that osteoporosis.
I did. I was 5'6" when I graduated high school. I'm 6 foot now. I just want y'all to know that calcium sand was my was the original gains maker. You know what I mean? People just don't know that. It's a little secret we didn't want to let out, but now cat's out of the bag.
I mean the whole hybrids thing, like I said, I really don't.
Yeah,
I don't get upset about it. It just makes me roll my eyes at a lot of them. It's like whatever. There's people that are into that Frankenstein sort of thing, and it's like if that's your thing, that's your thing. My sort of reservation or main concern with it is what pretty much everyone else's is that once you sell those animals and they're in the hands of other people and they start breeding other things, like that documentation, how likely is that to follow with it? And
sure.
I'd be willing to bet money that after probably, I don't know, let's say 2 or 3 generations where there's now 2 or 3 other people that are having those, that it's just, it no longer exists. And now that's just floating around.
Yeah.
If that's something you're concerned about, like I get it. There's some people that just don't care, just makes a cool looking snake. That's awesome. We're keeping snakes in boxes. Let's not take it seriously.
I think it takes 4 generations with a albino Darwin and a chondro, and you're producing albino chondros that are pretty damn convincing. You know what I mean? You're going to make heads, keep the 2 heads that are the most chondro-esque, breed them together. You get your albino, breed that back to a stock standard chondro. Again, keep the best looking heads, put it back, and like I said, about 4 generations, maybe 6. I mean, that's a lot of time. You're talking 15, 20 years.
Well, it also doesn't make sense to me either, because you see it with like the Chihuahua crested crosses. Like my thing is like, why would you take $1,000 gecko and pair it to a like max $400 gecko? It's like what's the point? Why did you get a Chihuahua? Like unless you were someone who just happened to have a spare of each and was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Like that's one thing, I guess. But to be like, well, I have this Chihuahua and I really want to breed them, but I don't.
That's usually what happens. They have a male Chihuahua and they're not successful breeding Chihuahua because they're actually difficult. Breeding Chihuahuas, raising Chihuahuas, getting eggs from Chihuahuas, getting your females to not crash, getting your females to ovulate correctly, getting your females to lay good, fertile, solid eggs that don't crash. It's difficult. Chihuahuas, I'm convinced, are the hardest to breed out of all of them. My brother is actually breeding Pine Island Chihuahuas now, and he's been successful. And he's keeping all his babies like you're supposed to. But he literally is like it's a labor of love. They're tough. Peachies and Gargs and stuff like that are one thing. And he's a big crested breeder. He's never once thought about hybridizing them, but he's definitely like, yeah, man, it took him years to get it right. Now that he's got it right, it's
too, like with those crosses in particular, it's like you're taking the best parts of each species, and completely cutting them out into one. So you have like an underwhelming looking Chihuahua and like a kind of cool looking crested.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, to me, it's like personal. I don't see the point. Like I don't see the why bother. But once again, we're just stuff in boxes. Do whatever you want.
There is a place for some hybrids, though. I mean, look at your leopard gecko community, who's started dipping into some of the subspecies and is producing. The big thing in leopard geckos right now is line breeding, right? It's all about producing line bred traits and not really focusing on morphs too much. But you're using subspecies to generate with that line breeding stuff from those subs. God, they're making some amazing stuff. Kevin is working with some of the Afghanicus stuff. Oh God, it's
dude, killer geckos.
Yeah, he sent me 2 female Turkmenis.
Nice.
No, wait, yeah, Turkmenis. Yeah, that's right. I'm not dumb. Yeah. I said it right. So I have a 2 female Turkmenis. Tourniquets, 2 female tourniquets. But God, they're stellar animals. And I have to have, dude, they're big.
Yeah.
Leopard geckos are so much bigger than I remember them being, and I don't know how to put that. I had them, and they were not as big as they are now. Because now, I did the Kris Painschab thing, the Painschab special. I have a plethora of them now. I have all of them, right? I have many of a leopard geckos.
The cornucopia of leopards.
Yeah, I have some stuff that's line bred with no heads at all. I have some combo wombo, like 5 gene slammy wambies. And my daughter loves the leopard geckos. And I'm just back in love with them again. And so that's, I'm actually hoping to breed some. So it turns out leopard geckos breed in like 9 months, which is crazy.
Yeah.
They get adult size very quickly. And I have some that I've had for like 2 months that have already grown substantially. It's crazy. But regardless, talking about on the hybrids being a necessity, what if we look at like rhinoceros iguanas, right?
Yeah.
You have your Lewisii hybrids that to get your blue rock iguanas because we can't have them.
Right.
But you've got people that have been working and breeding them back, and now we have these amazing specimens, and that's kind of the only way we can do that. So there's got to be room for some of it, right?
Sure.
Look at corn snakes. I think me and Justin have talked this many times. With corn snakes, we have things that we literally know are hybrids, and we're just okay with it, right? Like this corn snakes
not entirely okay with it,
but they're not. They're just
have come to terms with it.
It's nothing.
I like Ultramel.
We're gonna do, yeah. Ultramel's amazing.
There is always going to be a little part of me that is bothered by it, but at the same time, it like doesn't. It's the same thing I struggle with the locality stuff and the bears.
Yeah.
Does it really matter? Like, obviously, the Loma Alta stuff, I'm going to keep to Loma Alta stuff. Would I pair that male to something else that maybe is either undocumented or like a Davis just to see what you get from it? Sure. But it's like, I struggled with that for a really long time. And with the Alterna stuff, too, it's like, if you don't have locality information, like, no one's going to want them. And that wasn't the case with Alterna. Like, I sold just generic Alterna. Those things sold faster than, like, any other snake that I've ever had.
This like, past Daytona, somebody wholesaled 2 non-eating clutches of Alterna to Underground. Underground threw them loose in a 10-gallon tank on the table, and they all sold in like 3 hours.
And they sold them like cheap too. They were like $175.
Yeah,
Alterna are like stock standard Alterna are $250 to $300 now.
Right.
But I mean, I learned from that is that a lot of people don't necessarily care. They just want a pretty animal.
Yeah.
And like, goddamn, are Alterna a pretty animal?
It's the hardcore people that aren't even going to buy that stuff in the first place. Unless, if they're hardcore purists, like whatever. But I was surprised because I was like, I'm going to have a hell of a time getting these things gone.
Yeah.
And hell no, man. Those things.
It is not a problem. I had a young girl that's dating one of my nephews come over yesterday, and she's not really she's a little trepidatious when it comes to snakes.
Sure.
And they were like, "Hey, do you want to see some animals?" I was like, "Yeah, come on in, guys." And I told them, I was like, room's cold, snakes are cold, everything's getting ready to go to sleep for a while, but yeah, let me show you. And she was like, "Well, I'm kind of scared of snakes. I see the big ones over here. My pine snakes. I come in the room and they're just like, oh shit, it's 72 degrees. Are you about to feed me still? Because I'm hungry."
Yeah.
And first animal I always pull out. Opened up a gray banded king snake. Pulled out of Christmas Mountains. I said, "Look at this." And she just her jaw dropped and she stuck her hands out and she said, "Can I hold it?" I, absolutely. Second snake that came out was a snow corn snake, and she was like, "Holy shit, it's pink!" And I was like, "Yeah, it's pink and yellow, right? That's badass." And then we finally got to the point where I had a Janai out, and these big, impressive, crazy, contrasty animals, and then we get Tank out, 6.5 foot northern pine, and this girl that didn't know she would ever think snakes are even interesting is like, "Oh wow, he's so chill, he's so neat." That's they feel so weird, and it's like, yeah, soft belly with this hard spiky back, and yeah, it's cool. It's natural progression. But gray banded king snakes are one of those ones that my mom is terrified of snakes. I show her a gray banded king snake, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so
gateway drug."
It's a gateway drug.
Speaking of gateway drugs, I gotta do some show and tell. So, talking about New Guinea stuff. Boom.
Woo!
So that's one of the Novas from Billy.
Oh man,
they're fresh shed, and
wow,
this photo doesn't do it justice, man. Like those snakes are killer, man. They're killer. And the more I look at them, the more I like them. Honestly, more than IJs. I feel like IJs have so much more diversity and so many things you can do. But
IJs are cool.
But dude, these things are just screamers. But the real reason what I want to post was this, ladies and gentlemen, is an actual Miami phase corn.
That's a real Miami corn snake.
That's a Miami corn snake caught in Miami. And she will be breedable this year. I just don't have a male for her yet.
That's awesome, man.
So
I love that kind of buckskin softness between
Yeah.
us.
Oh yeah. And she's a pissant, man. Rattles the tail, strikes, thinks she's a yellow rat.
Side pattern's real busy too. It's pretty snake, man.
Yeah. I like showing her off because this is a genuine, and it's kind of hard to see in this photo, but you can see like the checkering is still kind of there, but it's more of a caramel wash to the checkering. But I feel like people have it in their head like, oh, Miami is supposed to be X, Y, and Z.
No, yeah.
This is what I would expect to see herping in Miami is this animal. The ones that we call Miamis, those are like the Miami Face. Those are the best extreme examples, you know?
Yeah.
And then for those of you who cared, that's the Jag. Demon spawn.
I was about to say it looks like a line bred Nova Guinea.
Honestly, it does. I was hoping that it doesn't get as yellow. I was hoping it stays more khaki, but time will tell. You know?
We don't really know what Novas are, but they've all been now with the new taxonomy. They're all the same, right?
Right.
Jungles and IJs are the same species. Am I correct in that?
No.
Okay.
Wait, Justin, is it? I have the book in the friggin' next room next to me. I can't forget this. They're all variegata now, right?
Okay.
Well, so Zoolander said specifically, like, this is not a formal revision. This is just what we think they should be. So they said yes, that they're all lumped into variegata.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be IJs and jungles, right?
And that's going to be IJs, Darwins, and Novas.
Okay. So that's Darwins are the most north. Wow, that's a pretty animal.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Shit.
Good stuff, man. That's great stuff.
So yeah, I've got a few months to find. I've got basically the beginning of this year to find a boyfriend for that Miami. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to outsource one because I want to breed her next year. The
best time to find a boyfriend for her would be to wild catch one in the spring, a male looking for a female, and he will go batshit for her.
I know it's gonna be great.
And that male will be primed. He will be true. I mean, some level of cooling, which happens down in Florida. That's my thing about my Everglades. I love the fact that I just like feed them a little less in the winter. You know, that's it, and they just stay together and they produce a beautiful clutch every year. And that's I don't know. I think I sold all of mine for $45 each or something. I've still got one female that's got a kink in her back. She's perfect. She eats frozen thawed. Anybody listening to this wants her, message me. If you pay shipping, I'll send her to you. A lot of people cull animals that have kinks. I usually get 1 or 2 corns a year. I had one female northern pine that I gave to a buddy. That, oh my God, the best looking one. She was so red. I don't know why I produced a couple that were red and a couple that were black and white. But I produced a really pink, beautiful female. She had this tiny little kink in her back. And you know, sometimes that'll straighten out a little bit. I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with the pair, right? Or else they all would have kind of come out messed up. Castagna.
Look at that snake.
I love
two of them there.
That animal is going to saturate, and what they look like as adults, just that kind of teak wood, softness.
Velvety.
There's almost like you can almost look at that and start thinking about wood and like smell that sandalwood teak wood, soft. You know, it smells like spring, right? And it is just it's those colors, man.
And I love how it
fades. Pictures, Phil, so you can see how they like started out and why they didn't sell versus why I now have them.
I was gonna say before I go to the next picture, I love it has that Mollendorfi fade to it in the back end, where it gets that like almost that it's gray. It's gray with the burgundy or auburn saddles.
Mollendorfi. There's a nice one. O3 What a great little group.
Right.
I hope to saturate my room with O3 someday. Ooh, look at that animal.
Look at that sucker. Just piss and vinegar.
I posted a video that those guys yesterday as like an update, and I did it on a whim and really thought the video wasn't all that great. The feedback on it was actually surprising.
It looks metal. It
Like-
literally just looks like death metal. Just it's a night. It's a, you know what I mean? Scandinavian.
Yeah.
They're pretty
I love it.
hardcore snakes, man.
Fucking. I fuck with those things. This thing's great. Kern.
So that's what the castañas look like as like fresh hatchlings.
Yeah.
And don't look like much. They look like kind of just regular anneries.
Yeah.
Caramel does that too. Caramels kind of come out.
Yeah.
They look almost just like that, and it's like, dude, you give them like 2 or 3 sheds, and the caramel saturation in the saddle starts popping, and it's just delicious looking.
Oh, look at that one. Oh,
that looks like one of those silver and black Okity anneries that Greg Abbott had, and it's so funny that's just that's not what that animal's going to look like.
Yeah, and forgive me for not knowing this. The Abbott black, is it not black Okity? What does he call it?
Silver and black.
Is it silver and black?
Yeah, the silver and black.
So is that an anery Okity that's lime bred to be his Sharpie marker blackness?
Yeah,
okay.
and that's they're line bred specifically for the saddles to also not have any blushing in them. Which is kind of just indicative of corn snakes.
Yeah.
So it's also line breeding out all of the pink and red. So anneries are kind of notorious for having yellows and pinks. They still have colors in them, right? They're not actually lacking the red, like you say.
Very cool.
And that's why he does a really good job of selling his snakes, because he has adult pictures all over his table. These gorgeous photos. I could have come home with 50 snakes from Daytona.
I know, right? Oh, man.
And I was very selective on what I brought home. And then actually, when I got home, I ended up buying those ladder rats. And like I said, I wanted to buy Aesclepalians also, just to round out the Zamenis genus.
Yeah.
Just because I get like, I'm bad about that, right? Like if I have a couple of something, I need more of that thing.
Sure. Smitty, are you getting Kasiki the parent pics?
Yep, I just sent them to you.
All right, cool. I'm gonna stop this one.
They're all het AML.
Nice.
Oh, mandarins. Mandarins are so a mandarin corn snake is a albino, or excuse me, an AML castagna, and goodness, what a great specimen that is.
All right, let me pull this up now.
What are y'all's thoughts on Mollendorfi? Just kind of as we there's a mandarin. Woo!
Yeah, that's mom.
Oh,
that's good. Dude, that's literally like creams. Like, I know it's not creamsicle morph, but it's creamsicle drink.
Mm-hmm.
Orange Julius, yeah.
Orange Julius, yeah, man.
That's dead.
Look at that. It's a hypotype, right?
Yeah.
But but it has this brown to it.
The way I explained it is it's like they have a clear coat layer over their color and their pattern.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost like there's a super, super thin wax paper coating on them. Like you can't really see it in pictures. It doesn't translate very well. But like with that motley male that I got from Kasiki, like the first thing I noticed is like it's almost there's like this just odd frosting over the entire body that just I don't know how to describe it, but that's the little mandarin that Kris sent me.
Oh, nice.
That's the female.
Super clean.
Yeah.
Super clean.
For sharing pics, some sending pictures.
Do it.
And that's the same female.
Nice. Very nice.
But it's cool to see, like, when he first sent her to me, she looked fairly standard. But it's like as she sheds, you see that castagna sort of like fade coming in, starting at the neck and sort of working its way down. Sort of like with the honeys, like as they grow, that yellow just creeps in from the head and just starts going down from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The infamous
North Carolina.
Kris Painschab blue gloves. Love it.
Yeah. Always gonna have blue gloves on. I had those grippy gloves for a while during COVID when I couldn't get these. The orange ones, but now my blue gloves. Those are North Carolina. They call them South Mountain corns.
Oh yeah, nice. That's them.
There is something about these. They're small. They're really small. These are 3 years old this year.
Wow.
And
Montrose just sent me an article on these and where
Yeah.
they originated from. It's on the
dude,
THN website for anybody interested.
they're badass. Hey, huge shout out. If anybody's looking for, you're using V35S tubs, you notice in the back left, that is a styrofoam 6x9 to-go container. I have that full of whatever, I don't know, one of the cocoa block things.
Yeah.
And when the snakes are in shed, I double check to make sure it's wet. And whenever I have gravid females, I make sure that it's perfect for them to lay eggs. And then 10 times out of 10, I have my females laying eggs. I have gone to that's one of my older ones that I still have. They're easy to clean. You can also just tear off if they soil on them. You could tear off the section they soil. But what I use now is those, but the biodegradable ones, and you could throw them in a compost heap when you're done using them. So I use those and some smaller ones. And on my king snakes, I have exactly what you see here, but I have a dry side, cold, and a cold side with nothing, and then a hot side with that, and then a hot side with nothing. Obviously, our paper towel rolls. I think Phil talked about walking around work with the toilet paper rolls in his back pocket. Yes, sir. I do that too. They're used constantly. Water bowl in the middle. That's kind of how I set up most of my stuff. And dude, those to-go food containers have become so valuable. I use them with everything now. Obviously,
you get them from like Uline or Amazon or what?
I just get them on Amazon. I think it's $15 for 50 or something, and they last a shockingly long time. And like I said, when they soil them, you just tear off the part that they pooped on, and these are recyclables. Most styrofoam isn't recyclable. That's the other thing I like about the biodegradable ones is they're completely recyclable. I just throw them in a recycling bin if I'm not going to take them outside. And yeah, they just, I mean, what an easy way to do hides. But these snakes in particular, I really like. They have a super chill temperament. I can feed them like this. I'll give one a mouse, the other one a mouse. They don't go batshit spazzy, so hopefully one day I'll get to produce some of these. It could happen next year. They're small. They're really small.
Those are what I really want to see put with those like Miami Phase.
Yeah.
With those like two opposite silvers, like mixing those together. If you get something interesting from that.
Yeah, I've got a Miami Tessera male, a Miami Honey Tessera from JT that may end up going to this female someday, just to kind of let's see what we get.
Yeah, man.
Or maybe I'll hold back a female. And but God, those are great species. Look at it.
Wow.
Woo.
Wow. She
ovulated last year. She had a couple eggs. She reabsorbed.
Is that one of the ones I sent you?
That's one of the ones you sent me. That's
Damn,
the female.
son.
Yeah,
dude,
she's
Smitty special. Wow.
That was
those Christmas mountains. Those were painful to part with because that's probably my favorite out of the gray band locale.
They'll be breeding this year. That's a 4-year-old female. She's plenty big enough to produce plenty of eggs.
You just send me that so I can send it to my dad.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. She's gorgeous. This was produced by the Rices over, I think, Captive Bred something. I forget their Captive Creations, I think it is. But I actually showed him. I met him at Daytona. Roy Rice and his wife. They're a co-op team. And I showed him pictures, and he was like, I was like, I have Christmas Mountains from you. He's like, can you show me pictures? I showed him pictures. He's like, I remember those things. And she was like, here's pictures of the adults. He remembers almost every snake he produces as far as gray bands.
Wow.
Yeah, these Christmas Mountains I'm real excited about, man. That's an animal right there.
Mm-hmm.
She is gorgeous.
It's crazy how much like those orange bands were not that prevalent when I had them and they were still small. Like it's crazy how much those have come out.
And if you look at the nape of her neck, there's like a muddling of soft orange in there that you can kind of just see, and it's like just the sun. This is with my window open. I love opening the window in the reptile room. Let my snakes get fresh air, real sunlight, and yeah. So you can kind of see that goddamn Alterna are amazing.
Yeah,
there's just they're something else, man. There's a snake I produced in 2021. That's a blood red tessera, diffused tessera, het charcoal.
Is that related to the one you sent me?
It's exact. It's 1 year older.
Ooh,
they change a lot, dude.
Well, this one, like the grays on the side that it still has, which I'm assuming are going to disappear, it's almost a blue.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's weird, but no, they'll saturate to almost a fully red animal by the end, and they'll have some of that soft, the black tipping on that stripe will kind of stay there, and the head will be a little muddled. Obviously, there's mask tied into everything that's diffused. We're just never getting past that. It's a cool animal, man.
That's ridiculous.
It's real pretty. I kind of wish she would stay just like this, but I know a lot of that white tipping on the sides. I know that's going to kind of go away as she matures.
Yeah, but still, man, incredible.
I'm planning to tie it into the blood red pieds I got. You know, if I can get that pair to produce this next coming year, holding on to, you know, a pair or two females and saving those for continuation of that. But
her mom is a blood red pied het charcoal, and she's got slow expression pied. But dude, you don't really see any of that piedness 2 years in or something. You know, the blood reds are neat. The true old school blood reds are really neat, especially when they hatch. They're kind of ugly, right? You're just like, it's not really
I think they look cool as hell. Like I like the marble white head and
you know. Oh, corn snake. And see, that's the thing. We just went from a pure locality gray band to a morph multi-lineage potential hybrid kind of corn snake, and it's like these things get me just as excited as the other. So we went from locality corn snakes to a pure locality corn snakes from Kris Painschab to a pure locality alterna from Roy Rice down to a combo wombo morph, and you know, I think we can appreciate all these things.
I love it.
Yeah. Oh man, just every day is exciting. I love it.
just to answer your question from earlier about Mollendorfi.
Phil, you remember that massive one that was at Daytona last year?
They're fucking big.
Dude, I had no idea they got that big. Like when I saw that thing, I was
they're big, man.
Blown away.
Look at that.
So that was a gift again from my late mentor. That thing was like 16 or 17 years old. And he kept it in his office, or I should say library. He had a normal like ranch style house.
Nice.
But his library was like, he was a major fossil and book collector.
Oh,
so
awesome.
His library looked like a gentleman's library. And that was the only snake he kept in there because it was the only cold weather snake he had. And he was moving stuff around, so he gave it to me.
Wow.
And I had it for about 2 years, and then it wound up dying, probably of old age. I kept it exactly how he told me to. And ever since Matt Moe started posting pictures of babies, I've reached out to him. So hopefully in the next couple months, once the weather starts to warm up and he gets some meals in him, I'm going to try and get some Mollendorfi from him.
Yeah, let me know what he says if he has a group available.
Yeah,
some of the morphs and those are pretty interesting looking.
The hypos and the reduced patterns.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a retic for colubrid people.
Right.
That makes sense.
I've heard they're a little spicy, but everybody that I know that has them says they're not real nippy.
I've never been bit by one. I've also never had one not eat ever. So then again, I've never produced them, and I've never had freshies, fresh ashes. But they're my favorite of all the Asian rat snakes, hands down.
They're gorgeous. You know, my Chinese beauties, the only times I've ever been bit by them was a feeding response. But dude, they have a nasty bite. They have a very, 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 very nasty bite.
That's why I don't want the Jansenite. I don't let the Jansenite get a hold of me, because when they do it, man, they do it with such force and just like intent.
Yeah.
That it's like, it's not like a little like tap of like, hey, get away from me. It's like, nah, man, I'm going for blood. Like, I'm getting it.
You know, one thing that's so funny, Pidgeophis have such a pissy little bite. I've been bit by. You're gonna bleed every time. I had a king or a bull snake suck on my finger for 10 minutes, and it got torn up. It was pretty nasty. But dude, Pidgeophis have such a shitty bite. They there's no pressure behind it. They barely. It's like they're like gumming you. And I'm like, how do y'all survive in the wild?
Then you give them food and they like,
oh my god,
floor and just like iron grip.
Yeah, and then they do the thing where they bite and then they grab it all the way against the thing, and then I love throwing. You know, I'll do like multiple mice for some of my adults, instead of a rat or a couple chicks, and they'll grab one with one part of their body against the tub, and then one with their mouth, and then one, and it's just they're pitchy officers. All these things are great. I don't know. We're almost 3 hours in. I could go another 3 hours just talking.
Rhino rats are the superior Asian rat. I said.
Yeah, someday I'm gonna find that out.
Latin words, man.
I think I'm gonna try my female this coming season. I was asking Matt and Stone. Originally, I was like, "What substrate do you guys use to cool theirs?" And Matt said, "He's like, I don't cool mine really anymore.
Yeah.
I just kind of cut him back on food because he said he noticed he had more issues when he cooled them than when he didn't." So
yeah,
I'm thinking my female could do a small clutch. So I think I'm gonna give him a shot. What I really want to do, because I'm in those bio-Gs, is at some point I'd like to get like a coupling or something and like combine two of them so that they can sort of go between them. Like it'd be cool to have, even if it was like 3 or 4, even like I didn't have anything else to use them for, and I had to pair, just connecting them all via, like I said, some sort of coupling or something.
Yeah,
that I can seal off, whichever one I don't want them to be in, and then let them do their thing in that.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Dude, rhino rats they're badass, man. It's a cool critter. There's those I'll have those someday. ASCHOEB asked, "Do I have hypocalicos?" I do not. I have normal calicos. So I have a male het calico and a female visual calico. I when I got them, I had the chance to get hypocalicos, and I actually like just the regular calicos more. They have a lot more color.
They're pretty.
Yeah, they're really pretty. I wish I could send pictures right now of my beauty snakes to show you, but I have never taken a picture of my beauty snakes that did not come out fuzzy, because as not bitey as they are, they just don't stop moving. They are.
I think actually, I think it's one of the few species where I can say, like, I honestly like the calico and the morphs more than the regular, wild type.
Dude, my big male, he's not even that big. He's long. He can. I usually give them chicks. They love chicks. They love chicks. But I feed the biggest I'll give them is a small rat. But a mouse will do it. A mouse a week is fine. A large mouse. Dude, you gotta get my male in your hands, dude. He's so, and they're so strong. They have so much pure muscle behind their scales. But that green and the black and the kind of camo look to them. They're the soft brown on the head. It really is a pretty animal. And I'm like you too, dude. It's really hard to beat those calicos. The calicos are psychopath looking, and it's funny when they're born. I hatched a few this year. They have you can actually still see the original patterning on them, and as they age, that pattern goes away, and they just have this calico look to them. You see very few spots. That's another species I'm just super excited to breed again this year. I'm gonna rinse and repeat what I did last year, and hopefully have a few more babies. They're neat, and they hatch out of little holes in the sides of the tips of the eggs, and they just blow out. They don't pip. And then like look around and do that for a day, kind of
freaking shotgun blast.
Yeah, they hatch, and the second they pip, they're just snakes out. It's fun. Yeah, it's awesome. Next year's gonna be great. This year was great. So much love.
This episode has given me ideas for THN 2023. So
yeah,
when we have our host summit.
Yes.
Hopefully within the next week.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys know. I'm not going to reveal anything quite yet, but I had an idea as a result of this. So.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Well, we are at the 3-hour mark, gentlemen. Is there anything you guys want to touch base on before we wrap things up?
Yeah. Phil, congratulations once again.
Yeah,
Thank
buddy.
You, sir.
So happy for you. It's a magical journey. It only gets better. Like wine, it only gets better with age. I can't tell you how much I love being loved and loving.
Yeah, man.
He's talking about me. He's not even
about Justin.
Yeah. No, I'm excited, man. I'm happy. Yeah. I'm very happy.
Enjoy every minute of it.
Katie was like, "Have they started planning yet?" I'm like, "It's been a week. I doubt it."
Well, it's funny when you have a 10-hour drive home, you do come up with some conversations.
Yeah.
So We're
You heard it here
joking.
first.
We're joking with people telling them 2046 is the wedding. So, but no, we'll figure it out.
AARP discount on flights at that point. So.
Yeah, exactly.
My man.
Right?
Gonna get married down at the Lajitas Resort in West Texas.
Yeah.
Right? What? Let's go.
Yes.
Do it in the summer when it's disgusting and hot, but at night it's perfect in the 70s.
The Oasis.
The Oasis.
We're gonna honeymoon at the Oasis, 100%. Make her herp the cuts.
Gonna have your have the reception at Stripes.
Oh fuck, yeah. Sanderson. Oh man, I love hunting reptiles in Sanderson, but I hate being alive during the day. Oh man.
Well, it's funny because she's gonna say two things. She's gonna say, one, do I really have to wear this stupid vest? And two, can we please eat something besides Mrs. Baird's donuts?
My buddy got married in Fort Davis, and they took all their pictures on Boy Scout Road.
That's awesome.
And
Dude,
so all of their wedding pictures are on the end of Boy Scout Road. Trilobite, let's go.
I'd do it.
I mean? My buddy actually produced Mexican hognose snakes that he found on his wedding night.
Wow.
He paired them and bred them. He has Boy Scout Road, Ken Leray.
So did he go herping with his bride after his wedding?
Literally after they took their pictures, they were driving back and found hognose snakes.
Wow.
Not a lie. He named his son Davis.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Well, I saw there was somebody, I don't know who it was, and forgive me if I don't remember your name, and you're a friend of mine, but it was it was probably about a year ago. Somebody proposed to their girlfriend by staging a rubber alterna.
Oh my god! I wonder if this was him.
Yeah,
I'll have to find out.
The guy had like 2 or 3 herper buddies, and I guess the girl was a herper too. And they went out there like a couple hours early, and somebody put a rubber alterna up in these rocks, and he was like, all right, hey honey, I'm gonna go over here, you and Bob go over there. And she's walking, and she's like, oh my god, and like runs over to this rubber snake, only to be like super let down. And she's like, what the hell, who does this, who puts a rubber snake out here? And like turns around, and he's like on one knee with the ring. Yeah.
If there's one thing I've realized though through marriage is that your spouse may not be nearly as into it as you. So these amazing ideas we come up with are not always always maturate into good ideas.
They do put up with a lot.
They put up with a lot of bullshit though. Oh my gosh, do they?
Well, after I failed at finding any kind of salamander within the first 24 hours of our trip, I was like, screw it, I'll propose without one.
That's cute, dude. That's awesome.
So,
man,
what you do is you get one of those slimies and you put the ring on that, and then she has to get it, and then she has to deal with having her hands and fingers glued together because
she'd love it. Well, then that was the goal. I was like, man, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna flip a ruber or a red eft, and I'm gonna be like, look at this, and like she's gonna be like, oh my god, it's a real red eft, oh my god, it's a real spotted ruber. And then I'll be like, look, I found another one, boom, ring. But yeah, that didn't happen. So next time, babe, next time.
Yeah. I think salamanders are also a missed niche in this hobby. I think there's some people could really do some good work. I had a tiger salamander for years. The guy I got him from fed him hot dogs.
Really?
So his name was Hot Dog. Dude, this would have been 2001, somewhere in there. That salamander just recently died. I had given him to a buddy. He was huge tiger salamander, massive. And my buddy actually got him tattooed on his arm after he died. And we all called him Hot Dog. His name was Hot Dog.
That's awesome.
The dude, and I was like, what does he eat? And, I ended up feeding him like appropriate, like worms and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, I just feed him cut up hot dogs. And I was like, no shit. That's just the coolest thing ever.
Would have even better if he got the tattoo, but it was like in a hot dog bun.
Yeah,
I think it's like a old school style looking tiger salamander. There's obviously a picture of this thing, and I think under it has like a little banner that says "hot dog" on it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. That's how you end a show, boys.
That's right.
Hot dog. Hot dog.
But
love you guys.
You need to end the show by going to blackboxcages.com and looking at some cages and some racks. You need something new. Something needs an upgrade.
2-foot sliders.
That's right.
They're coming.
We're working on I'm trying to convince Jen to get on the FB90 train.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people looking for those. So
V90 is a good size. And you know what? If somebody's listening to this wants to get into a lot of different species of geckos, a lot of different species of small colubrids, they have that. They have a rack that has 2 rows on it. It also has variable heat sections on it. You can use V15s, V18s, and V35Ss. You just saw a pair of snakes that I keep in a V35S. I breed a lot of my Montane Kings, my Mexican Kings in V35Ss. They like that, deep substrate, hide in the front, hide in the back. You can take them. You can literally raise them in the same rack that you're going to end up breeding them in. So there's a lot of variability with that size. I like it. So.
And I know a lot of people get weary, like they hear V35 or the 35S, and they're like, "Oh, it's going to be this giant, long, obnoxious tub like the 70s." It is not. It is not. It's the ideal tub, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's about I think 18 inches deep or something like that.
Yeah.
It's for anything that's 3 foot or less. I think a V35, V35S is where it's at. Some of my corns, all my corns go to V35s or V28s. And some of them get to move up to the V70 Palace.
Forgive me on this one, but on that double column, can you turn one of the 35 sideways?
No, because it's a square tub.
Oh, okay.
So you could do 3 V15s, 2 V18s, or 1 V35S.
Okay. Yeah. All right. But you could do an 18 sideways.
You wouldn't be able to because of the handle.
Okay, never mind. Forget it.
Do it as it's supposed to be done, Phil.
I know. I just like try to like on my. I've done that before where I've turned tubs to maximize surface area of heat. So
yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, now I see what you're saying on that.
But V35, the tits.
Yep, I'm getting. So that's the XR16 or the XR20 that we're talking about. Basically, it's the same rack, just the XR20 has more slots. 2 heat zones if you want them, so you can have like a hot section up top that runs a different temperature than the section on the bottom. Get them in black or white PVC, and options as far as casters, dollies, toe kick, so all the good stuff.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Impeccable quality. My next pickup is definitely going to be another XR20 for all the smaller stuff I got.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm going to be hopefully getting soon the cube, 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, moving the leeches in. Also, kind of excited to be able to not have a ton of ventilation, be able to box in the humidity a little bit. You can kind of
just the right amount.
Yeah. So, because Exoterras are like really good at escaping all of your humidity and any, especially when you put heat on them. Phil, I know you've done this before.
Oh yeah.
I've had a few species I kept on heat, and dude, it just does not hold heat.
Nope.
Great cages. I'm not gonna say they're not. They have their place.
Yeah.
And I keep a lot of stuff in them. But yeah, I am in a constant battle with humidity in my life. So.
And I tell you, with like some of the girdle tails, we use Exoterras on purpose because they're going to lose the heat. So I can get it really hot during the day and then be able to actually achieve a 15 to 20 degree drop at night without having to add like an AC or a chiller or anything. So it's good for its purposes.
Use that discount code THN at checkout. BlackBoxCages.com.
BlackBoxCages.com.
Black Friday.
You said they are going to have a Black Friday sale, 5% off. 5%. Will the discount code in the current sale compound?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
double check. But so check them out, and then Puget Sound Pythons. Obviously, Jeff and Kendra. Gotta make sure y'all are following them.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Absolutely.
And I'd also like to say something. I plan on getting some of Steve's Snaketuary Venom Hot Sauce for the holiday season as some stocking stuffers. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Steve also offers a complete set of all of them.
Yes, I believe he does.
Okay, and people can buy that on his Facebook page?
Snaketuary.com.
Snaketuary.com. That's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some of the some of his hot sauces so I can mix up my Brussels sprouts because I love Brussels sprouts, baby.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Brussels sprouts are the best.
Shout out to Joe, who said I have a 6-foot black box that I thought I was going to have to assemble, but I was thrilled when it arrived already built.
Yeah, that's how they do.
That's right. Packed flawlessly.
Packed flawlessly.
But even the assembly is a breeze compared to other cages I've got from other people that I had to put together. So,
yeah.
fear not. We'll see everybody. So we're not going to do a show Thursday because it's Thanksgiving. So we'll be back again for Snakes and Stogies on Monday. And
Excellent.
Yeah, good stuff.
Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
that's right.
Be safe.
Be safe.
Don't
Drive
get stabbed
safe.
over a TV on Black Friday.
Yes. Don't get trampled. It's not
worth it.
Don't drunkenly break your thumb in 2 places the night before Thanksgiving and then have your mom make you wait until the next day to have surgery and then rebuild your hand so that now you don't have skin right here.
Oh, okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that either.
Pro tip.
Pro
tip.
Wednesday
Excellent.
night, stay home.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's not mischief night. Stay home.
No, it is not. It is not drunken wrestle your friend over the campfire night.
Nice.
It is stay home.
And for those of you who are going hunting on Thanksgiving morning, good luck to you.
Good luck.
Apollo has lifted his skirt. The day has been launched.
That was great. That was perfect.
See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.